Panago Pizza presents STP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wylde.
Let it be known right here, right now, that as it stands, there is no better general manager in the entire National Hockey League than David Poile.
Yeah.
He is the best GM right now.
He's the best cupless GM.
He is the best Oh, wow. Wow. Fire starter right here, man.
That's mean. I'm a Leafs
Come
fan.
on, that Ryan Ellis contract is
You know how many
sweet.
Predators fans are just, that's the Leafs fan! Piece of crap! It's August, don't think I won't yell at you!
Is it David Poile or is it Mark Bergevin for helping build that team?
Oh, good point. Good point.
Now the Habs fans are mad.
Should we not be giving Bergevin all the credit?
Should we be keeping track of all the cities we're pissing off as we go?
You know this is why I like Jesse! That's what someone said.
You know what?
What?
Arizona sucks too.
Every episode!
You mean the state or the team?
Episode.
No.
The state's great. Yeah, I love the state.
The Coyotes.
Yeah.
Guys, like, we go through phases, okay? And for a while, all the Canucks fans were like, man, can you give it a rest? Oilers fans?
Oh, don't worry, Canucks
like
fans.
a 4-year face.
We'll come back.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. We took a break when they were good, and we're like, hey, this is great. And they were like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah. Hey, wow, you guys are doing great. We know. Piece of crap.
We don't need an Eastern Toronto asshole telling us we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Good. We're great and good.
Good.
How does this affect the Leafs?
How does it? Well, here's the thing. It
Now
affects
they're
the
not
Leafs
gonna
because
trade for Ryan Ellis.
Now we can't sign him next offseason.
we can't say Ryan Ellis's beard will come to Toronto. Now, from what I've heard about Ryan Ellis, he's a really quiet guy and has zero interest in being around the media. So, kind of makes sense that a guy like that maybe wouldn't want to be here. Also,
So he plays in like the league's loudest arena.
yeah, but it also makes sense that he would want to stay in Nashville because look at how great they are. And that is, I mean, an 8-year, $50 million contract means that his average cap hit is going to be $6.25 million for a right-handed shot defenseman.
Starting next year
Yeah.
as well. Sorry.
Like, he's making $2.5 million this coming season.
Yeah, I didn't realize
That's
that
insane.
until, was that a Tim and Sid graphic?
It was.
Hey.
Yeah.
Did you make that graphic?
Under 20. No, that's our font board. He just.
Is that his name, Font Board?
Font board guy. Yeah.
Fontleboard.
Neil is
Neil.
his name.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, so. But under $20 million, the Preds will be spending on Ellis, Ekholm, Josi, and Subban this season.
Wow.
And 23
Subban's
next
making
million.
$9.
23 million next year,
Yeah, actually, I have the graphic right
which
here.
is still great.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah. So it's 19.25 this year. Josi 4, Subban 9, Ellis 2.5, Ekholm 3.75. And next season, it'll be the same, except Ellis will increase to 6.25. And that'll be a $23 million cap hit on those 4 stud defensemen.
So he's going to get close to a $4 million raise. They're still going to be at just 23 for those 4 really good defensemen.
Yeah.
It's a little, I don't know if David Poile obviously has some responsibility in terms of them winning a cup or not winning a cup, but show me a GM that's made better, solid moves in the last 5 years. Like, honestly.
He's consistently making the Preds better.
And there was
keeping the band together.
when they got to the finals, the big knock against them was they didn't have any centers because...
Well, they got hurt.
Yeah, exactly. But you go into it now, you've got Ryan Johansson locked up to a good deal. You've got Kyle Torres, who you just randomly stole. Like, it was a little like...
Randomly stole.
Like, at the second that he left Ottawa, they tanked. They were somewhat in it. They were in it enough to go after Matt Duchene.
Well, I also didn't realize how good of a season Matt Duchene had because of the terrible start he had in Ottawa.
He had a great
and then
year.
all the games he did well in were useless. But he had a 27-goal season.
Oh, yeah.
I did not realize that.
Matt Duchene's a good hockey player.
He certainly is. So imagine how bad the rest of the Sens are.
So
Now we're on the Sens.
No, let's stay on the Preds for a minute. Like, I don't know. If you're in the West, are you just a little, like, if your team's in the West and you're not a Preds fan, you a little frustrated right now? Like, come on.
Who's not?
Somebody's got to leave, right?
Well, who's not looking forward to Preds Jets again in the second round next year?
That's what it's going to be.
Come on. It's going to be amazing. It was what was a better series these playoffs than that? And it went the full 7, didn't it? That was a great series.
The Golden
It was
Knights Cap
everything we
series,
wanted it to be.
not Golden Knights Caps.
Golden Knights Caps was good for a 5-game.
I meant Columbus Caps. I don't know why I said Golden Knights
That was
Caps.
good, but like it's so hard to pay attention to every series in the first round.
Yes, but I think it was a great series,
Yeah.
and especially because the turning point came in like what's it, double or triple overtime in Game 3.
I want to say double.
Like
Yeah.
that was the, that's cool.
That's unbelievable. They almost went down 3-0. We've already talked about that, but
Do you want me to ask Steve on the show what I was asking before in the group
Yeah,
chat?
please do.
you're weird. Like, where does this come from?
I don't know. I just thought of it.
Okay.
Is there 4 guys on a different team that you would take over these 4 on Nashville?
That's a
And
good
you
question.
said you would rather have Marner, Nylander, Matthews, Tavares than Josi, Ekholm, Subban, and who am I going to say? Who did I just not say?
Ellis?
Ellis.
There you go.
Yeah, I would.
You're probably wrong.
I think they're better players. Like in terms of like value, like at cap hit, like okay,
No, you're taking everything into consideration. You're taking
Just who's
this
better?
19.25 million and the Leafs, whatever they signed Nylander at with those other 3 guys.
right? Yeah. So if you're taking the cap hit into account, yeah, it's,
Still the Leafs though, right now.
it's a little bit hard to argue. Well, because it's gonna. Oh yeah, before they
It'll
get
still
the
be less.
raises.
Yeah, I mean Marner and Matthews make $925,000.
Yeah. Okay.
There's still less, but going forward, would you not rather have this team if you're trying to win a Stanley Cup this season?
At that price.
And then you build around those 4 instead of
Well, it's built around those 4. I take those guys. I take the Leafs guys because they're our guys. They're our guys. They're my guys.
That's
Those are my guys.
How many superstars are in that group of 4 though? Out of Josi, Subban, Ellis, and Ekholm.
1.
How many superstars?
One.
Yeah, there's 1.
Josi.
Josi is a very good player.
He's not a superstar.
I don't think he's a superstar.
I wouldn't put him there yet. Not
Ellis-
especially after last season.
They're all of those are players you need.
You're saying Subban is a superstar.
Yeah.
He
When
is.
he's the second. He's on the second line, second pairing.
Doesn't really matter.
How much?
Like
Okay,
matters a
second
little.
pair, but like, where is he in terms of ice time? That I'd like to know.
4th.
Is he actually?
I have no idea.
you're full of crap.
Yeah, but he's on the second pairing. I'm just assuming he's 3rd or 4th.
I'd still call him a superstar. Like
And I would-
Tavares is going to be. What are we just going to start calling Malkin and Tavares second liners now?
Strategically,
Malkin is a second liner.
Malkin is legit his entire career a second.
He's a second line
Except
center.
for when Crosby's hurt.
is Evgeny Malkin the best second line center ever?
Yes.
Mark Messier.
Oh, God. That's a good
Mark
point.
Messier, yeah. No, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
like who would you rate as the
That's
best
a great
second line
question.
centers ever?
One of those two. It's got to be.
Who else would be on that list?
Yeah,
Ron Francis.
Ron Francis for sure. Maybe Jaromir Jagr when Lemieux
He
was
never-
alive.
was he ever a center?
Wasn't he?
I think he was always wing.
Oh, was he always wing? Okay.
It's an interesting / stupid debate.
Completely. It's
That'd be
perfect
a
for
great article.
Perfect for
Best second line center ever.
Yeah, no, that'd be a great
Just
article.
look at every team that has had 2 first line centers.
Well,
and there you go.
was Henri Richard a centerman?
Oh boy, now you're going.
Because I think
now you're going.
if he was, then he was the second guy. But that guy won 11 cups.
yeah.
Like, think about that. He played 20 years. 11 of those he wins the cup.
That's not bad.
That's a good career.
How mad was he when he didn't win? Like the years he didn't win.
Yeah.
The other half
Yeah,
of the
other-
time.
less than half.
He's like-
the other less than half.
He's like Thanos times 2 with the rings,
Yeah.
man. Like, it's
Just-
unbelievable.
yeah.
I wonder what he thinks of Jerome McGinley.
Wow. Wow.
I just think
Did he retire or did he have it handed to him? By the way, thank you for all the messages, the people that loved that we were just screwing with Steve for
I think a lot of people agreed with us.
people.
We were right.
Somebody messaged me and asked if I had conspired with
Look
you
at that one,
beforehand.
Rosie. Go ahead. Sorry.
All I said to Jesse before we did that was, hey, I got something for Steve. Go with me. I didn't tell him what it was. I didn't tell him when it was coming up. It was just go with me, and he did.
Yeah, but I didn't have to go with something when you're like, hey, here's this right thing. Agree with me. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I get
of
it.
course I'm going to agree with
funny,
it.
Jesse.
Still going
I
with
get
me.
it. Oh,
Still
yeah?
doing it.
Yeah, are we still going with it? Still real.
I'm just like, okay.
What were we talking about?
I think you've got guys like people are going to say, well, Kyle Dubas has been a general manager for about 2 minutes, and he's done a pretty good job. Getting John Tavares, it's a pretty solid move. But David Poile's been doing this forever. He's been doing this a long, long time. And if you look at this version of the Nashville Predators, they've been a solid team for a long time, but this version of this team started to come together about 5 years ago.
Well, and they've always sort of been an underachieving team. Like, remember when they had
Like Suter Weber.
Suter Weber, when they had Peter Forsberg,
Yeah.
young Radulov. Like, they've been,
David Legwand.
oh my God, but they've had so many goes at it where you're like, here it comes. And it never really came. And then they finally went to the Stanley Cup final.
Let me see here. Here's Nashville
And they could have just as easily gone last year.
Predators roster.
Like, imagine the Columbus Blue Jackets, your 2018 Stanley Cup champions.
So I'm pulling up their Hockey DB roster from 2012-2013. Here's what the team looked like 5 years ago.
Lockout shortened year.
Yeah, and by the way, I believe this was a playoff team as well.
They're usually in the playoffs.
Shea Weber, David Legwand, Mike Fisher, Martin Erat, Colin Wilson,
Martin Erat.
Roman Josi, who I believe that might have been his first year, Gabriel Bork, Sergei Kostitsyn, Patrick Hornquist, Kevin Klein, Nick Spalling, former Leaf great Nick Spalling, Craig Smith, Rich Clune, Brandon Yip, Taylor Beck, Jonathan Blum, Ryan Ellis, Chris Mueller. Like this, parts of this team, major parts of the team, Austin Watson, Philip Forsberg, Pekka Rinne, Scott Hannon, Matthias Ekholm, like 3 of the 4 defensemen that we mentioned are still on the team. Like 3 of the 4 of those top 4.
Well,
like
what I was keeping count for was you named like 1 or 2 players who I recognized. You had to go further down the list. And I guess that was the year they traded Erat for Forsberg. Then
I think
if
so.
They both played on the same
I think
team.
so.
That must have
That
been
was the year, and that was a hell of a trade.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
But this is what I'm talking about, right? Like, where are the Predators without one of those moves? Where are they without Subban? I mean, they still have Weber, but Weber's out till December, so that's a big hit.
Even like drafting the goalie of the future and UC Saros and that Ekholm, I don't even know how they got. I think he was a drafted player too. Mm-hmm. Their losses are few, except in the playoffs.
Yep.
Which sounds dry, but I mean, it's true.
I mean, and they're also directly responsible for the Blackhawks making the biggest blunder, I think, in the last 24 months in the NHL, which is the trading of Artemi Panarin.
Yep.
That is unquestionably the worst trade since Subban for Weber.
It worked out poorly.
It's the worst. It's the worst trade since that.
Now imagine getting Brandon Saad and somehow screwing up a trade.
Right. And Brandon Saad's great.
That's a decent player, man.
But come on.
And that little shot I took at Poile earlier is obviously in jest. All a general manager can do is put you in arm's reach of the thing.
Mm-hmm. And does he not do that?
And there's too many factors that a GM has very little control of.
Yep.
Puck bounces, ref decisions, injuries. Like injuries, you can only prepare so much. Like we all agree that Tampa's like one of the deepest teams out there, if not the deepest. And a couple of years ago, they sustained so many injuries that they missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
By one stinking point. But they did. They missed the playoffs, and now they're so stacked.
Yeah, it's not even fair that they got to draft that high and do all that. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Did you? I should have sent this before the show. But speaking of like ref decisions and all that, did you see the Gretzky Holinka?
Oh, sorry. In the shortened year, somehow they missed the playoffs. Sorry. Shortened year, they missed the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm talking and listening here.
All right. Sorry, my
What's
bad.
going on?
I just wanted to say I wanted to correct my mistake. Gretzky Holinka, what?
The tournament.
Did I see any of it?
International? No. Did
we
you
care?
see what happened though? It's not usually a tournament that I would watch. It's like I think it's it's either under 18 or under 17. Canada's won like 19 of the last
Specifically
21.
very niche tournament.
I know, yeah. But anyway.
So niche that they put Gretzky's name on there because what the fuck?
Well, yeah, it used to just be the Ivan Holinka, I think. I don't know when Gretzky got involved, but anyway, it's the Gretzky Holinka. And Canada's playing the States. It's a crazy back and forth game. Every puck is going in. Some of the goals are nuts. Someone scored the Michigan goal where they scoop up the puck, and there are all these other crazy dangling goals. The States are up on Canada. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Canada takes a shot. It goes in. You can see 0.3 seconds left.
Ooh.
0.2 seconds left. 0.1 seconds left. 0.0. 0. Time's up. Puck's not in yet. Then the puck goes in. There was some sort of shenaniganery where the tournament was held in 2 different places. It was held in Red Deer and in Edmonton. And And Edmonton had video replay capabilities.
That's
but
why
Red Deer
Gretzky's
did
name
not.
was added to it.
Oh, maybe.
That makes sense.
Edmonton had video replay capability. Red Deer did not. So to make it even, they made it so that they couldn't use video replay for this call.
So they called it as a goal.
They called it a goal. Canada wins in overtime.
Oh!
And goes on to win the gold medal.
That's
against Sweden.
bullshit.
So
Wow.
America got screwed?
Oh, they got jobbed.
Yeah.
Oh, they got totally
That
jobbed.
countdown was the end of the game.
The game was over.
Oh, that's
The puck wasn't in the net. Game's over, man.
Oh, wow. I had no idea any of this happened.
Yeah, I was just. It was like in the
I'm
middle
shocked,
of my
Jesse.
Twitter boycott, and like I was just looking it up on Instagram. I'm like, wait, sorry, what happened? I'm like, oh, that's so sick that they scored right at the buzzer. And then I watched the whole pack on YouTube. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize
that
the
sucks.
States got ripped off. So why would they make that decision? That because because Red Deer doesn't have video replay, they can't use it in Edmonton as well. Why be twice as wrong? Why be twice as unsure?
You're asking me why a tournament named after a guy I don't know anything about that added a name of the biggest super.
I think is a important person. I don't remember. I'm not gonna lie.
So don't pretend that you know anything about Ivan
you're
Hlinka.
right, you're right.
So fine, okay, and I'm sure there's going to be hockey people out there who are like,
It's a big tournament.
Just so sad that I don't know who Ivan Hlinka is. Sorry, I don't.
Dude, it's a big tournament.
Okay, it's a big tournament, but the point I'm trying to make is you're telling me a tournament.
If you make the Ivan Hlinka team or whatever,
Yes, it's
called
great.
now,
It's an
you
honor.
have an
Blah, 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 blah.
extraordinarily good chance of making the World Juniors.
You're telling me
Yeah.
that the Ivan Hlinka tournament, which randomly added the name Gretzky to it for no reason, might be a bit unprepared for things? You're telling me the tournament... We're just going to add, we're also going to add Michael Jordan's name to this.
No,
and,
there has to be a better reason than that,
LeBron
Adam.
James. The LeBron James, Ivan Hlinka, Wayne Gretzky. Steph Curry shooting threes in your eyeball.
Arena
tournament.
for hockey excellence.
Yeah, like what you can't tell me. Are you new to this hockey thing?
Listen.
When do they do anything prepared?
Hockey
When do they ever go, this could present a problem?
Hockey's consistently the craziest, dumbest sport. I know that.
Like, Brad Hall scored an illegal goal, but because they'd already fired off the confetti, they gave the Dallas Stars the cup anyway, despite the fact that they pulled back like 100 goals that year for foot in the crease violations, and it was so embarrassing for them that they changed the rule the next year so it wasn't the same.
It was people who, I keep forgetting that it's 2018, and a lot of people listening to the show weren't even friggin' born in 99. Hockey was so effing ridiculous. It was the most comparable season to last season in like the 90s, I would say was 99. Because every single goal that went in last season and in 99, I'm like, maybe they'll call it back.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, it was weird. It was weird to get too worked up about a goal against or for. Like, positively or negatively, because you're like, it might just get called back for reasons that... There were so many goals where I watched and I went, I don't know. Actually, this season was worse because you just go, I don't know.
It's disappointing.
Whereas in 99,
Sucks.
you could actually see the toe in the crease.
Imagine there's a home run in baseball and you don't know if it's a home run, which does happen from time to time.
Jays Royals.
But every home run.
Oh, right. Yeah, every single
home run. You're like, no, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just don't know. That sucks. Imagine, and I don't know if there's like a bearable in basketball because basketball is pretty clear cut. There are some fouls and stuff where you're like, what the hell? But if you were to fire off like an incredible shot and every single time they're like, we're going to have to look at it.
Well, that's the trade-off. Is hockey, you might get a questionable penalty call every game. Basketball, it's like...
Every foul is pretty questionable.
Every time, like I watch and I go, it's probably just because I'm not like the biggest basketball fan. But then I listen to the commentators and they're all like, I don't know about that. Like every single call. Every single call. But
I feel like it should be a rule in basketball where the refs should be at least as tall as the players. Because like you look at these refs and they are like, okay, it sounds ridiculous, but you look at the refs and they're like 5'11", and then like the players on the court are like 6'10" to 7 something.
You're ruling out
5'11's pretty generous.
How are you going to see that?
You're ruling out a lot of humans if they have to be the same size as basketball
But
players.
you're missing a lot of calls if they're not the same size.
I don't think
Maybe they
that's
should be
true.
wearing VR goggles.
What is it? Like if you're...
give them a camera angle.
If
I'm
you're
kidding.
an American and you're 7 feet tall or taller,
Not
you have like
7 foot.
No. If you're an American
stat.
and you're 7 feet tall or taller, you have like a 15% chance of playing in the NBA. Something
Are
like
you
that.
serious?
Is that serious?
There's something along
learn to
those
dribble.
lines.
It's better
Just
than that.
learn to damn dribble.
I would think it'd be better than that. Like, how many 7-foot people are there on Earth?
Not many.
Yeah, so I think it's better than 15%.
Check it out.
I don't
Check
know.
it out. I don't know. It also might just be one of those internet
Jesse
things
just
I read
disagreed with
and
you.
is totally false.
I don't know what to Google to find that out.
That's like today there was that HF Boards rumor about Andrej Sekera.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I sent it in the Facebook.
I know. I'm just being a dick.
No, and everyone's like, yeah, let's trust HF Boards. And then, like, within the hour, the Oilers responded, like, by the way, Andrej Sekera's out 6 months. And everyone's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
that was gonna be my second topic.
The first link on Google proves that Steve is incorrect and I am right.
Wait, are you saying 10 to 70% of bridges in
You're
America
right.
are not
You didn't
falling
take
down?
a stance on this.
I took a stance that you're always wrong.
Oh, well, that's fair.
Busting the myth that 70% of American seven-footers play in the NBA. Every once in a while, the article by Pablo S. Torre,
That's a Tory.
where he claims that there is 17% chance to make the NBA as an American 7-footer, gets posted on a default subreddit where it usually gets upvoted to the top.
Right.
The frustrating thing is that every time the comment section will be filled with uninformed people, he uses a made-up number to make absurd claims such as this proves that you don't need much skill for basketball, only height. And other ridiculous stuff. So when yet another one of these posts is made, yesterday I sat down and decided to do some research. I used Basketball Reference to see how many 7-footers there are in the NBA right now. The problem is that Basketball Reference used their official listed height, as we know, blah, 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 Roy Hibbert, blah, blah.
Oh, this sounds
Torrey
so
bases his
exciting.
calculation on estimate by the CDC that there are no more than 7-footers between the ages of 20 and 40 in the U.S. going by these numbers, including Aaron Gray. The chance of making the NBA as an American 7-footer would be 2.8%.
That's
not
still crazy
17.
high.
Yeah, but
That's still
15
really
to
high.
2.8 is
Still.
a pretty big difference.
Still
Yes.
learn to dribble. Still learn to
Yeah.
dribble.
Yeah.
If you're 7-footers, still learn.
Filler.
Make the effort.
Yeah.
Could be millions of
Go to
dollars.
the
It's a
gym.
good investment.
Practice your footwork.
Yeah, like avoid math class. Work on your jams.
Yeah, no, you should take your studies super seriously.
Yeah,
If you're a university athlete,
actually, yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean-
Actually, you probably should.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. You
I know the
should.
stereotype is, oh, school's a joke. Like, you know, you're just going to play pro, but like, you could be setting yourself up for like another cool career.
I would maybe probably take it seriously. Andrej Sekera will be out for 6 months. He was out for 6 months last year, notably as well. Played 38 games with the Edmonton Oilers. I believe he had 8 points, and all of them were assists. Now, what was interesting about last year, and we talked about this on the show, was that most of the blame for the Oilers' slow start was put on Andrej Sekera not playing. And I'm just wondering, when they start slow this year, are they going to blame the same person not being there?
Well, no, because the tweet right before the Oilers talked about Sekera being out, Oscar Klefbom is for the first time in like 3 years, I guess,
Healthy.
at 100%.
Good for him. Good.
Good for him. So,
And somehow they managed not to trade him for less value this summer.
exactly. And no pun intended. Well, can you imagine if they traded him now? They need him now more than ever. But no pun intended, there's going to be a lot of weight on his shoulders with Andrej
Literally.
Sekera out.
I wonder, because apparently he injured it in training,
Yes.
his Achilles in training. The thing that they haven't said is when. And that could have happened at any point over the summer. And talking to a source that we have, they said, there's a chance that the Oilers held this information for a while, and then the hockey boards broke it, and then they had to come out with it, as in they were waiting. Now, I don't know that for sure, but it seems a little strange that this rumor pops up today. Now, that could have been someone within the Oilers office leaking it because maybe they just found out about it today. Maybe it happened last week. Who knows? In which case, the Oilers still have a leaky ship because, how did hockey boards know before we did?
Yeah, how would you hear about
Like
that?
that. That's someone who's a friend of a friend, but that's still a leaky ship, right? Mm-hmm. And that's big news. I do find it very, very interesting that this came out today. Like, why today?
Well, and also the Montreal Canadiens thing where,
Well, we'll get to that.
yeah, okay.
We'll get to that.
It is, no, it's clearly in direct response to HF boards.
Which means the Oilers are reading HF boards.
Well, it went viral. There's nothing to talk about in hockey, and all of hockey went, what? Andrej Sekera's what? I was just thinking today, right before that happened, I never know. Like the Oilers are a frequent punching bag, and they got some holes. But McDavid, man, he has another healthy year, MVP year. Would anyone be shocked if he somehow found a way to break 130 points?
No. I can't wait for it. I look forward to that.
I look forward to it too.
I can't wait for him to just light people up, like except for the Leafs.
I think the salary cap era record was Joe Thornton with, I want to say
$120?
I think it was 128. Ovechkin might have beaten it once.
That's amazing.
Crosby might have beaten it once. It's incredibly hard to do, and McDavid could do it in his 3rd/4th full season. It's hard to count the first one because of the collarbone thing, but.
And he was playing with Benoit Pouliot and now Yakupov.
And Yakupov. Yeah.
The McYakpoo line.
McYakpoo line, which was so good.
It was a good line.
It was so good.
Injuries are funny. I mean, obviously it's on the team to announce whenever they want. I wonder
if they were trying to deal him.
No, you can't deal him. If you dealt him and you didn't tell the team, first off, he'd never pass the physical. Second, there would be. I mean, you can get penalized for that. That's a big.
No, but he wouldn't be able to pass the physical.
Yeah,
so I think it's
maybe
not an option.
Maybe not him. They were trying to do other moves.
They were trying to make another move, and this affects the trade value of whatever their move was. If they were hiding it, and we don't have any confirmation that they were, but it seems a little weird that hockey boards would have it, and then boom.
Yeah. Maybe it's the sort of thing that hurts. Would that hurt ticket sales? Like early season ticket sales?
No. This is Edmonton. They're hockey mad, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Wait a sec. They were selling standing room seats like in the hallway.
Oh, no.
I forgot about that.
And you know what? And all they need is really Cam Talbot to stand on his head again.
Be a bit better than last year.
They'll be fine.
Do they have a backup goalie now? Who's their goalie?
It's that guy from the KHL.
Mikko Koskinen. Boy, you
at $2.5 million for a guy they've never seen in the NHL. I don't know.
A long time ago.
There was a couple moves that happened right after we recorded the show last week that I want to talk about. The first one got no play because it comes from the team that, quote, Jesse thinks sucks. And that is the Arizona Coyotes.
Say that.
Which move was this?
Exactly. Think about it. What did the Arizona Coyotes do within the past week?
The OEL extension? That was a while
they haven't
ago.
done that. I don't
That's
think that's
not
been
official.
Signed. That's not even been signed yet.
Yeah, it's been signed.
Yeah.
It's done.
Jacob Chikrin.
No.
Christian Dvorak.
Bingo.
Christian Dvorak extension.
Got it. Christian Dvorak.
I do remember this now.
6-year extension. $26.7 million. It carries a $4.45 million cap hit. Now, what's interesting about this is they obviously see Dvorak as a guy that's going to really break out.
Well, he had a crazy junior career with Mr. Mitch Marner.
But he has, in the last 2 seasons, had 33 and 37 points respectively.
I don't hate that deal.
I don't hate it either. All I'm saying is interesting.
Yeah. You're betting on him to be better.
Which, if you're going to take a bet, I'd take a bet. They have to spend some money on their own players, not on, Pavel Datsuk's contract. Like, they could actually,
Yeah.
I don't even think they paid Pavel Datsuk. Like, I don't think he did.
No, they paid him $0 actual dollars.
No.
And now I think we're going to get Caps fans going, well, what the hell? Like, the Capitals are paying Tom Wilson on what they predict him to be, but I think the difference is
Christian
Wilson
Dvorak's a center,
well,
and he's played
and also
2 seasons.
a child.
Yeah.
Whereas Wilson is well into his NHL career, well into his NHL career. And Dvorak, I don't hate that.
I don't like it.
It's also
but
less
I don't
than
hate
Wilson,
it.
by the way.
I just find it. I found that one funny. I was like, that's a weird contract. How did you come to that? Well, think about it.
4.4.
When Connor Brown's a 34-point guy and he gets $2 million. Now Christian Dvorak's a center, but is that really worth $2 million more? Tell me the difference. Connor Brown's had a 20-goal season. Christian Dvorak has not.
I think you just have to spend money if you're
guys.
Like, who are you giving your cap space to? If you're not going to just pay your own guys, that's what you have to do because you're not going to go out and sign free agents. There's nobody available who's coming there.
Totally. And the obvious comparable, which I don't think is fair, is Nazem Kadri. But Nazem Kadri's on a deal that you'll never see again for a guy that good. You'll never see that again. It's not going to happen. There were special circumstances surrounding that.
Yeah. You will see it again. It'll just take similar circumstances.
Totally. Yeah. A guy that's, having
maybe
trouble.
It's this one.
Yeah, maybe.
You played for a garbage team for a couple of years and
But
You're projected to be really good, and then you end up being really good.
This is a guy that's never scored over 37 points in a year. Do you give $4.4 million and that much term to a guy?
But if he ends up being like a second-line center, which I don't think would be a shock to anybody, that's a great number.
Sure.
And then it's Kadri all over again. Sort of. And it's different. But
do we know if Dvorak played center last season? Because he's a wing, right? And a center?
I don't
Plays left?
I believe he's a center.
Don't remember.
Yeah.
They struggled.
I mean, I don't know how many
that.
minutes he spent at center. I don't even know how to look that up. I know people do.
Yeah.
But
Well, and a lot of times it's just listed wrong anyway.
yeah, for
sure.
sure.
So why are you upset at the Tom Wilson contract but not at this one?
Because Wilson's significantly older and
he's
a
a
winger,
winger.
and also
Okay, what is
Not
2
a-
years is significantly older?
Tom
No, it's
Wilson
more
is
than 2
24.
years.
He's 24.
It's 4 years, isn't it?
No, Christian Dvorak
Dvorak
is 22.
22.
Oh, he's older than Marner?
yeah.
Yeah, he's 22.
2014. He's a Nylander draft.
Oh, okay.
So what is your argument?
Well, in 2 years, he's what's Wilson's career high again? Are we really bringing this up again? Are we really doing this
No,
again?
you brought it up. You said that this is a terrible contract.
Okay, Wilson makes more. So
sure.
there's that.
He makes $1 million more.
Okay, Tom
And he's won a
Wilson-
cup.
That's a lot more.
Tom Wilson has played 391 career
And
games.
he's won a cup. Shut up.
Tom Wilson has played 391 career games. He has 35 goals.
Thank you.
Christian Dvorak has 30 in 156.
Yes.
See,
Jesse.
Now, it's not all about goals.
The comparison is
Not
not
all
there.
about
the entire game of hockey isn't all about goals and points.
And if he is a center though, like a full-time center, or will
That's
end
a
up
steal.
being a full-time center,
Let's say
even if it's not a
okay.
steal, it's better than that.
On a good team, $4 million for your third line center isn't bad. Like, look at what Tyler Bozak's making with St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
And would you say that they overpaid for him? Maybe
yes.
a
How much
little
is Bozak making
Yes.
with St. Louis?
No, they-
$5 million?
for the next 3 years.
I'd say
I would
yes,
take-
but they're also yes, but they're now the St. Louis Blues. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like look
Like,
at
do you hate Tyler Bozak at $5 million? No, absolutely not.
I don't
We
love
had-
it, but I love their team.
What do we have him at?
So
4-2?
I guess I do.
We had him at 4-2 last
4-2.
year. What's the difference? Yeah. $800,000.
Daily Faceoff does have Dvorak listed as the third line center on the Coyotes.
And what do you
Damn.
have? What do you have?
So-
for him?
Stepan,
Stepan
Gouch,
and
and
Gouch.
Dvorak.
Yeah.
Man, and if
That's not bad.
It's okay.
Could be
Dvorak's
really good.
Yeah.
Dvorak's matchups are going to be a lot easier this year if he's the third line guy. Stepan's going to have a bounce back year for sure. And I feel like Gouch is just going to break out. Like even if Gouch, you start, maybe you have Stepan as your number one guy, right?
Yeah.
And then you put Gouch at number two.
Yeah.
I think Gouch is going to score another 30 goals this year.
I'm just
I
looking
really
at the
do.
Coyotes. They remind me a little bit of the Sabres, which usually is not a compliment, but in this rare situation, this rare summer it is, because the Sabres had so much turnover. The Coyotes added, Gouch is a big add. Vince Hinostroza is a big add. They'll add Dylan Strome, who will hopefully be a full-time NHLer and good because he killed it in the AHL. Michael Grabner was an addition. Dvorak's going to take a step. Their defense is still really good if it's healthy. Fancy Ranta stays a step. Yeah.
I don't hate the Coyotes.
No.
Oh no,
no,
They're
they're
going to be
decent.
they're gonna be a good team.
Yeah, they'll be decent.
And when you get if you look at the back half of the year last year,
Yeah.
like Francisco Aquilini, if you look at our last 10 games, if you look at 1/8 of our season, we did a great job in that 1/8.
Jeremy Williams is the future of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Ian White will be the captain.
Colin Greening. Half a point per game, Colin Greening.
No, but the Coyotes were like one of the top 15 best teams in the league in the
Absolutely.
back half.
I think it was higher
The
than that.
Coyotes
Yeah.
the Coyotes make the playoffs too. How do they not? Let's look at the West.
How do they not? Easily. It's the NHL.
Okay, but
it's
like
too even.
But seriously,
They should be in contention. They should not suck. Like, hey, there's another discussion. Who should suck?
who should suck?
Yeah, who should suck?
Vancouver.
Probably
should
Vancouver.
should definitely suck.
So we know they're going to start hot.
I'm not sold on Edmonton. I do think they're going to make the playoffs, but I'm not sold. I think they got to prove it. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think the Ducks are going to.
Ooh, they might struggle.
They might struggle. And
They
now
might
I don't
also be
know.
good.
I know Kessler was online. Remember when he was like chirping at Ryan Johansson for no reason
What was that?
on Twitter?
What was
I meant to
that?
bring that up a couple weeks ago, and he was just like, "I'll meet you in the parking lot" or something. Like
Just randomly
Ryan,
tweeting it?
You can't walk.
Yeah.
You might miss the season. What are you talking
you're
about?
You're injured. You're 34. It's the summer. Man, go do something else. Go do anything other than what you're doing.
Like, don't be like. He's so lucky. Alex Burrows was on the Canucks. Like, he is so lucky. Alex Burrows made him millions of dollars because he's so unlikable. Like, are you kidding? Like, seriously.
Also, Kessler was a fantastic player.
Oh, he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
No, listen. I'm not talking about his play.
Yeah.
But is anybody like, oh, I get the warm and fuzzies when I think about Ryan Kessler?
Right. Right. Like, imagine if Kadri were to ever leave the Leafs.
You'd have to hate him.
People would be like, wait a sec. I hate Hyman. Wait, I didn't realize. Well, I can't stand Kasperi Kapanen, but like just because Kadri's there, he just absorbs it all. Mm-hmm. When Marchand leaves the Bruins, I hate
David
Jake
Backes.
DeBrusk.
Or Jake DeBrusk.
Yeah. Wait a sec.
David Backes can't really play anymore, so he just swings elbows at people. I mean, really.
He had a good playoff. I thought. Well, sorry, he had a good power play against the Leafs.
That one time.
He destroyed Ron Hainsey a couple times. Wow. Literally just that.
He went after the 37-year-old man.
Hey, who the Leafs played friggin' every penalty kill.
Anyway, long story short, who's going to suck in the West? Let's go.
Who's going to suck in the West?
Oh, have we moved away from Tom Wilson's contract is all right?
Oh, did you want to?
No,
Tom Wilson's contract is not all right.
You argue that it's all right. You're making me argue. You're making me do arguments that I've already done. You argue that it's good.
He will prove that it's a good contract
these
coming seasons under the contract.
Cool. And now the discussion's over because you're like, well, Steve, we'll find out.
Also, it doesn't matter. They won the cup.
You're right.
That's right.
The goal is to win the cup once. Just one before I die.
Well, they got it.
Yep.
Now, okay, all right. So of the non-playoff teams in the Western Conference, St. Louis, Dallas, Calgary, Edmonton, Chicago, Vancouver, Arizona.
Louis didn't make it.
Yeah, because they finished just they
almost
Colorado edged them out. They finished.
Yeah, remember Colorado made the playoffs.
1 point out of the playoffs, despite trading Paul Stastny.
Wow. Yeah, selling at the deadline for a second straight year.
Pretty amazing.
Wow.
Of those teams, who will remain down?
Say them again.
St. Louis, Dallas, Calgary, Edmonton, Chicago, Vancouver, Arizona.
I think you see LA fall.
Well, they're adding Kovalchuk.
They added Kovalchuk and Budaj.
Yeah, Peter Budaj.
Who are combined 486 years old.
Yeah, like I've dug the LA Kings out of the side of the pyramid in Giza. They're so old. Like they are old. But they've been there and they're grizzled, eh?
Yeah. I can't believe Budaj's still in the NHL.
Backup goalies, man. With pedigree.
Wasn't
not good pedigree. Like, look out, Kerry Lettinen is still playing.
Yep.
Or was, anyway. Making $5 million. I think his deal's up.
Is he still a free agent? I think he is.
I think he is. Yeah, I don't agree. I think he's going to remain a free agent.
I don't remember. Anyway.
I mean, Niemi was playing.
The only team I'm really confident betting against is probably, probably the Canucks. What has Chicago done this offseason?
Nothing. I've seen a lot of rumors. Like, I follow Blackhawk up on Twitter. They're great guys. It's a lot of rumors like the biggest rumor for Chicago this summer is Artemi Panarin would consider a return. Well, so, yeah, if they sign the check. Yeah. But they have no money left for him.
If it happens...
Oh, I had a great time in Chicago. I won a few cups there. Well, that's great. And you won the Rookie of the Year. That's great. Of course he would have considered a return. How are you going to give Patrick Kane half of Patrick Kane's salary to him? Or more.
The one argument I would make for Chicago, the big thing against them, though, is Corey Crawford is still a question mark.
Oh, yeah.
That's brutal.
I think Chicago remains out of the playoffs.
Yeah. If Seabrook has a bit of a bounce back season, and Keith, I'm confident, will have a bounce back season. Didn't he? We had a bit on the podcast. Didn't he have as many even strength points as Roman Polak last year?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
He'll have a bounce back year.
I think he'll have a bounce back year. And if they do, then Chicago's got a fighting chance, but I don't like him very much.
Look at some of these playoff teams. Nashville, Winnipeg, Vegas, Minnesota, Anaheim, San Jose, Los Angeles, Colorado. Of those teams that I just named, and these two teams are 101 point teams. Just behind the Leafs. I'm not confident that Minnesota's a good team next year. I'm not confident Eric Staal is an 80-point player anymore.
Wow, yeah, I forgot about that crazy season he had.
I am not confident in the Anaheim Ducks. I've already mentioned that. It's all on John Gibson. Like, it really is. And you know what? He's proven that he can. So I don't think that there's any sort of, like, he just signed that extension. I get that. That's cool. He'll be there for 9 more years because it doesn't kick in until after next season. But, like, no Kessler. Got good defense core.
Yep.
You've got the ghost of Corey Perry. Ryan Getzlaf is still a great player. Like, if you can offload, if Anaheim offloads their coach and Corey Perry's contract to Arizona, because that's where it's going, then I'm like, okay, Anaheim's turning it around. Wouldn't you?
I don't think he's playing in Arizona.
Because listen, Arizona.
I like that. Let's revisit that. If Arizona gets better and they become this playoff contending team,
and they're not they're not spending the cap. We know that.
Yeah. But when do they grow out of this? Like,
why would you keep doing it?
Well,
if you don't have to pay him any money,
though, like, yeah, I agree that Corey Perry's not going to Arizona because he's not so bad that he's out of the league. He's not LTIR. He's just not worth $8 million or whatever it is that he's making.
Yeah, whatever.
It's a lot of money.
Well, and at the time, it was worth it. I mean, he was scoring 50 goals a year at a certain point, right? But in the last 2 seasons, Corey Perry has had
the Hart.
He's still a 50-point player. But for the last 4 seasons, 55, 62, 53, 49.
That's not an $8
That's
million
not that's not an $8 million player.
No.
And especially the last 2 seasons, 19 goals and 17 goals. Previous seasons, he at least had over 30.
He must have had a hot second half. Because I remember he started so slow. He had like 2 goals at Christmas or something like that.
And maybe
I'm thinking of someone else.
Fairness to Corey Perry, who there were times where he looked like the best player in the league.
The series against Edmonton.
Yeah, he was like a phenomenal hockey player.
Yeah.
But I think there's either a steep drop-off there or there's going to be some crazy resurgence from him. I just don't see...
You play the style of play that he does, you're going to wear down.
Yeah. Yep. And he has been playing since 05-06.
Look at Kessler, too. Like, those are hard miles, man.
Yep.
It's amazing that noted amazing player Jerome McGinley played for as long as he did because he played that hard miles style.
Hold on. Noted by who?
Noted by NHL insider Steve Dangle.
Debatable.
Sportsnet NHL insider Steve Dangle.
Do you know who posted that?
No, I don't.
Who
Do
wrote
you?
that board? That
Do you?
board? No.
I would love to know.
If I knew what day it happened, I could tell you.
Like, I don't even know where they got that picture. Like, we have pictures on file. That's not even our picture.
No, that's the one on file.
That is not
But
the
they
one
don't
on
own
file.
that. And I told them that. Like, I messaged them. I'm like, by the way, that's not your photo. Here's some you can use, but please stop using that. I look like a child.
Anyways.
I look like an old child.
Okay, look at this.
So Corey Perry.
Oh, yeah.
Corey Perry, I was wrong about Corey Perry. He makes way more than I thought. $8.625 million.
Oh!
Ryan Getzlaf, 8.25.
2.5, yeah.
So between those two last year, Steve, how many goals did they have between the two?
35.
35? The actual answer is 28
No.
for $16 million.
Perry and Getzlaf?
Or $17 million, yeah, combined.
How many games did they play?
Now, so that's the interesting part. Ryan Getzlaf played 56 games, had 61 points. Now, 50 assists. That's good.
Okay. No. That's real good. He had a good playmaking season.
Just going on, yeah. And you know what? That will be his future. I don't think he's going to be a big goal scorer. He might be a 25, 30 goal guy, which is still big enough.
Well, Joe Thornton, like, for most of his career, like, he was a playmaker, but he could chip in like 25, 30 goals.
And like 70 million assists. Yeah.
Now he became this thing where he's just like, all right, all I do is pass.
Yeah. Which is fine.
Yeah.
Well, Getzlaf's never been a big goal scorer.
Yeah, but he's a guy that he could get you 25 goals. The last 3 years, though, 13, 15, 11.
Yeah, but you don't call it 25 goal scorer a big goal scorer.
Okay, goals, he could score enough.
Consistent goals,
Sure,
scorer,
yeah.
I guess.
13, 15, 11. I don't care. I mean, like,
The sun is setting on those two players.
Sure.
Now, they are still good players.
Yes.
We're not saying that they're not. I'm not saying that they're not. But when you have you have almost the Preds' entire defensive core wrapped up in those two guys, money-wise. $17 million for them, $19 million for the Preds next season.
Oh, you're not? Two guys?
Two
You're not
guys.
including Kessler?
No, I'm not even including Kessler, who had...
Because he'll be LTIR, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
At least for this upcoming season.
he has to be.
So, okay, then, Adam, is this fair to say?
And by the way,
maybe
Ryan Kessler, 8 goals last year in 44 games. Six assists.
So is this fair to say, then, maybe the Ducks should load up. Their big boys are old.
Well, they got the LTIR, right? Yeah, maybe it's the. I'm not. I mean, they've got some really great young players. Cam Fowler's got to have a bounce back year.
So you load up maybe a little bit, and then you retool. You retool over the next.
They're not a
few
rebuild team for sure, but I just think this year.
Not rebuild, retool.
Yeah, for sure.
I think maybe that's fair. The West is it's got the really good teams. It's got the dog pile, and then the only team I'm really comfortable writing off is Vancouver.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, they're
losing both Sedins.
I don't hate this top.
I don't think we're putting enough emphasis on that.
Well, it's 100 points, right?
Yeah. Well, I know it's, or even if it's like 80, and it was the ghost of the Sedins. It's still you're losing the Sedins.
Fowler, Lindholm, Manson, Montour, all under the age of 26. That's a really good defensive core.
And Lindholm missed significant time last year.
Yeah. So Lindholm's the guy that needs to have a better year. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe you do load up. I'm not convinced with the Ducks. There's something about them. I'm just not feeling it.
I think they are anchored by Leafs great Corbinian Holzer and Luke Shen,
who is still there. He's still there. Didn't they trade him for Peter Holland? Or it was like a 7th pick or some dumb thing?
Something
He's
like
still
that.
there.
They put him on waivers, and a lot of people thought he was going to be bought out. Mm-hmm. But no, I think it was just regular waivers. He's still there. He's still there.
Let's move on to the East here.
Yes.
I don't think...
August hockey.
Tampa Bay, Boston, Washington, Toronto, Pittsburgh, Philly, Columbus, and New Jersey all made the playoffs this year.
Damn.
I don't know how any of those teams don't.
But
Florida might steal a spot.
Florida, which finished 1 point out, might steal a spot, especially with Mike Hoffman. Mike Hoffman's worth a point in the standings.
Better than they were last year.
And then it falls off a cliff. Carolina finished, 83. It went from 96 points to just missing the playoffs to 83.
They're a strange team.
Yeah, I remember the Leaf season wasn't fun come December because we were like, okay, they're going to make the playoffs. So just, are we going to play Boston or not? And that was it for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they were in this really strange no man's land because they couldn't really. It was going to be too difficult to catch anyone, and also no one was going to catch them
for the last 2 months of the season.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was longer than that.
Yeah,
longer,
like December. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Tampa or Boston, and we just waited.
Because I can see Buffalo making some improvements. They're not going to finish last in the conference again. I think they're going to be 20 points up. But even if they make a 20-point improvement, they're not even close to the playoffs.
But yeah, no, that's a reasonable.
Is that not reasonable though? 20 points, so. That's good.
Well, what were they at?
62 points last year.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Ottawa with 67 points. I think they're actually going to finish lower than that.
But Ottawa's one of those teams though that just has stupid magic. If Carlson stays there,
no, Steve, no.
How the hell did they come within one goal of the Stanley Cup final? That team wasn't far off from what it currently is.
Well, what it was last year, anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they got worse and added Bodker's contract.
Oh my God! And just
for Hoffman, they got an overpaid guy for a guy who's probably underpaid.
Oh boy.
Now I understand the circumstances, but come on.
Yeah.
Montreal is going to still suck, man.
Yeah.
They're not any better.
I don't think they're going to be very good.
Carl Elsner's not going to get better. Weber's not coming till December. Carey Price might stand on his head.
But that's even if the biggest X factor, is there a bigger X factor in hockey?
Okay, Carey Price stands on his head and he gets you 20 more points in the standings. That's 10 wins.
Yeah.
They are still not even close to the playoffs. That's still 91 points, and the cutoff for playoff points last year is 97. Jersey got in, squeaked in. That's not enough.
Ooh.
So he's got to win you some big games. Detroit, they're still terrible, and we don't know what they're about.
I think they might be a bit better.
Rangers are retooling, obviously.
I think they'll be okay.
I think the Islanders will crater.
I think they might still be okay. They might crater also.
I think they're going to crater.
Yeah. Their goaltending situation's rough.
But at least they got character. And Carolina, I think, has to improve. But I'm still not convinced about their goaltending. And
I don't think Carolina's done.
Who's going to score for Carolina? Like, why? For me, Jeff Skinner's the guy I want to keep. Like, they got a bunch of...
I'm trying to remember. Justin, can you bring up their cap friendly? I don't even remember who's a Hurricane.
Yeah. I mean, Dougie Hamilton that was great. That was a really great move.
He was a good addition. They lost two good players as well. Yeah, actually, can you bring up their daily faceoff? That might be better.
Jordan Staal, Justin Williams, Victor Rask, Teuvo Teravainen. I like the Teuvo Teravainen contract too. Who's gonna score for this team? Other than Sebastian Aho.
Okay, Sebastian Aho started terrible. I know that because he was in Mrs. Dangle's pool.
But
Andrej Svechnikov, I forgot that you added. Michael Furlan. Boy, I don't like them up the middle very much. Martin Nikash? I don't know who that is. I'm not going to lie. I don't know who that is. Teuvo Teravainen, Justin. Yeah. Victor Rask might take a step. Oh, boy. Andrej Svechnikov would have to light the NHL on fire, be in the Calder race.
Justin Williams is a deadline buy for a team.
Yeah, I think you nailed that.
36.
Jordan Martinook is a guy who Gus Katsaros is always like, I like him as a player. He could be a good deadline buy for someone. And then on defense, which is where they make their money, Jacob Slavin, Justin Falk, Calvin DeHaan, I forgot they added him, Dougie Hamilton,
Brett Pesce.
Hayden Fleur, Brett Pesce,
Yep.
could be a good defense.
I don't know, man.
Could be carried by them.
I think the East will look much like it did this year. I think it has to.
I don't think it looks terribly different. Florida, to me, is the biggest X factor.
Right,
and also Carey Price's
But even Florida had a good
performance.
year, right? It wasn't like they had 96 points, man. They were a point out of the playoffs. They're not
I think they had 98.
to say that. No, Florida had 96.
Oh, it was 96? Okay. sorry.
If to say like Columbus and New Jersey both had 97. So if one game goes one way, and that's what it comes
Are you
down
literally
to.
looking at a list right now?
looking at it right
and
now.
I tried to correct you.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. Who cares?
Okay, sorry.
If one game goes one way and one game goes another, then it's Florida in the playoffs. But I think those top 9, it's pretty hard to argue that changes. In the West, I think it's a lot more wide open. Like Nashville, Winnipeg, who knows what Vegas really is? If you say
Dude, I have no idea.
If you say you know what Vegas is at this point, you're lying. You don't know what Vegas is. We don't know. We didn't know what they were during the season. The whole season, everybody's like, who the hell knows?
Dude, they were winning games with Oscar Dansk and Malcolm Subban and the other guy, Maxim Lagacé.
Yeah. And I
Come
wonder,
on.
at what point does San Jose... I still think San Jose's got to make a move here.
Do you? I think they're real good still.
I do. I do think they're real good, but this might be it.
They're definitely aging. They're in a similar... I'd out of the California teams, I'd think I'd put them in the best position. Mm-hmm. But they're similar to the Ducks in that they got some guys who are getting older.
But those guys
they
are at
got
least,
some good.
They're
They
guys
got
that are
some
getting
good
older.
young players.
The guys that are getting older for them are still very productive. Like
I'd say
Brent
they're
Burns.
they're on the tail end of prime.
Sure. Yeah.
Not the sun is setting. You know what I mean? Does that
And
make
you got Martin
any
Jones.
sense?
And Martin Jones is Martin Jones.
Martin Jones, you draft really well typically.
I wonder
You
if
just got a bunch of draft picks.
if Rick Nash decides to play, San Jose can offer him all the money in the world.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play though.
You don't think so, eh?
No.
It's a shame about the concussions. Like, he was still a pretty effective guy. Like, looking at, what Boston did to the Leafs with him on it.
Part of me wishes more players would make that decision.
Yeah, it's a smart move, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I get it.
He's made his
You're an
money.
athlete, you're competitive, you want to make millions of dollars, you want to win the cup. He's never won the cup. But, dude, like, how old is he? 34, let's say?
Yeah.
Like, hopefully you got, like, if
Couple
you're
years.
lucky, you might have another 60 years left of your life. Come on, man. Use your head.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Yes?
Let's talk about another GM. We've talked about John Chayka. We've talked about David Poile.
Finally. We're done talking about teams in August.
Let's talk about...
Look,
Hey,
I tried to get a guess
on our topic, Jesse, because you contributed so much to it. You jerk.
Hey, we're having Chris Johnson on next show. Let me
Yes,
just
we are.
tease that.
Yeah, that's
There we
great.
go.
CJ. Back for a CJ episode.
Before we move on from Rick Nash,
Oh!
did we know that our good friend Mike Stevens wrote an article today entitled "Why the Leafs Should Sign Rick Nash"?
I read it. The
Is it
only
good?
problem with
Oh.
that stupid website is how many pop-ups there are. it drives me up the wall. I can barely read it.
Okay, so Mike
What is an
Stevens
editor-
writes for 9,000 websites.
This
Is it
the
his fan-sided one?
Oh my God.
Okay, not
They
just
have-
pop-ups, Adam. Fake ads with your face on them.
Oh yeah, because they've got that ad with my mom saying she's retiring, which
She's
by the way
quitting
is
TV.
total bullshit. And same thing happened to Tanya Kim. They're doing it to a bunch of media personalities, mostly women, saying, "Oh, they're stepping away, they're retiring, there's this, that." And they're
Mrs.
like,
Dangle saw one that was promoted saying your mom's leaving TV. It was a promoted tweet.
I think they're just generated by bots, and they
Yeah.
just grab pictures and they grab words, and it just generates it and throws it up. So it's
Totally.
not really.
At least they use a nice picture.
If you see the one about
It's
me,
usually-
if there's ever one made about me, it's true.
yeah.
I'll just say it's true. Yeah, it happened. No, I'm kidding. Let's talk about the GM of the London Knights.
Oh, so what did you think of the article?
What did I think of the article?
Yeah.
Leafs should sign Rick Nash.
I thought it was well put together. I agree. I just
Actually?
yeah, why not?
Sorry, my instinct is to
Why?
say
Why
why.
not?
Why?
No.
If he pushes Tyler Ennis out of the lineup and he's your fourth line guy, he's still Rick Nash.
Well, yeah, if you're able to offer him very little. But is he that guy? I thought he was still like a several $million type of player.
If he's the guy
Or you
he
say,
was
hey,
last
Rick,
year.
you want to come play for a winner? Want to hit some dingers?
Man, if
do
you
some
can,
endorsements?
if you can convince him to come back for cheap, I mean, yeah, sure. Hey, if you
I
can
don't
get
think you
this
can.
really good player for cheap, would you do it?
Yeah.
Of course I would.
And I don't think the Leafs actually have all that much. Like I think before LTIR, I think it's like $3 million. Not like, or is it $3 million?
Once it's all said and,
After Nylander and
once it's all said and done, they'll be comfortable. But if
Yeah.
they make another addition, that's when it starts to get snug.
yeah.
And I keep going back to it, and yeah, it was 8 years ago now, but Rick Nash was such a great two-way player for Babcock in Vancouver. He was one of my favorite players to watch when I was there, man. He was
I don't know.
so
Think it
good.
makes-
Didn't have to score goals. He
I
was
don't
great.
mind it. I don't mind if they could get him for a couple $1 million. Who cares?
Well,
Well,
that-
the lineup is stacked.
That's with everybody, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean-
hey, if they could sign Subban for a couple $1 million, like I'll take
Would
it.
you do it?
Yeah, I think so.
If Rick Nash is a $4 million player now.
No, then you don't do that.
No.
was the
But if
season
you
like
hold on. If Rick Nash is a $4 million player, you've convinced Tavares to leave a couple $1 million on the table. Couldn't you do it with Rick Nash? Hey, man.
Maybe you could.
Although you can't convince him to play on the fourth line, that's for sure.
You might be able to.
I don't think so.
I just don't think it's.
I think
there's
he's
a
better than
chance
that.
it's
Yeah, I don't think there's a
happening.
chance. But yeah, also fan-sided. What the hell, man? Can you guys just chill on the ads? Like, I know everybody's got to make money, but man,
Yeah, Mike can't say it because he works there, but
I'm sure
yeah.
Mike knows.
chill on the pop-ups. I mean, I know you got to keep the lights
How
on,
many
but chill on the
autoplay videos
pop-ups
can you
and chill on the fake ads.
Yeah.
Fake. Actual fake. Rick Nash last year had 30 math points. 34. It's a middle of your lineup type of player. I like him. Yeah, of course. If you can get him at a cheap price, if you can get any player at a good price, yes, do it. Not crapping on Mike's article that I haven't read. I'll go home and read it. And next episode, next week, we'll be like, by the way, Chris Johnson, want to talk about how Rick Nash is now a Leaf. Can you
Let's-
imagine?
Let's talk about guy who promoted himself to his own team, Mark Hunter.
Oh, right.
Now
This
the GM
is something I missed. I
Now the
feel so
GM
out
of the
loop.
London Knights moved the GM who is already there to the side. That guy will assist Mark.
Oh, really? So he left the Leafs to be the boss.
Of his own team.
He wanted to be the king of his castle, and that's fine. That there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But didn't we talk about this?
Rob Simpson, who is the team's general manager, will be the associate general manager.
Well, and I'm sure he had that position knowing
Oh, for sure.
if
But-
Mark ever comes back.
But, okay. I don't understand, and maybe this is he waits for a GM to get fired and then he's in the conversation.
Maybe.
But the whole narrative when he left was that
Best damn scout in the
he's-
world.
and he's Lou's guy. Lou, by the way, doesn't seem to want to give up the general manager job in the island.
Yep.
So
Could
if he
have
is
maybe stepped aside and brought Mark on. Who knows?
sure, even as an assistant GM, why not? If he's Lou's guy.
But then, okay, if you're Mark Hunter, do you want to live the rest of your life comfortably and call all the shots in London? Or do you want to be GM of the Islanders, GM air quotes, of the Islanders and still have Lou above you.
I don't think GM of the Islanders was ever an option.
I don't think it was either. I
No,
don't think
that was just
Lou was not giving that up.
That was
Yeah.
something that everyone just kind of said and was
Yeah.
never necessarily true. But everyone was talking about how the Leafs made the wrong decision. Like, did he turn down GM jobs? Did that happen?
Did you even hear his name ever mentioned in a new GM? Who was even hired as a GM this year?
Trying to think. And, maybe it's that there weren't a lot of openings and your
Could be.
first theory was right. He's, going to bide his time, wait for someone to get fired.
Which I think he will do. I think he will do that.
Yeah, I
But
don't think there's anything wrong with this move. I think it's just
No.
go occupy your time while there's a job, while you wait for a job to open up in the NHL.
Because if you do sign with a team and then another GM job opens up, there's a chance that team could block you. Even though they don't do that, they could block you.
The only GM that signed this offseason was Lou. The last.
Oh, and then Carolina signed. They had a GM. Waddell.
No,
Don
he
Waddell.
signed in May though.
Okay, well, that was
this,
their
This
offseason.
is before. I'm talking about after.
before the decision.
Before
Yeah,
Hunter
right.
left.
Because I remember Mike Fuda was up for that, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that for $300,000."
Dubas signed on May 11th, and then after Dubas, Minnesota hired Paul Fenton on the 21st,
Right.
and then Lou signed to the Island on June 5th. And
So-
he's the newest.
That was
GM.
the
It
last
might
one,
have
huh?
been.
Wow.
It might have been a masterstroke from Brendan Shanahan saying, "Okay, you can go, but July 15th is your date." Not because for competitive reasons, it might have been the smartest thing that Brendan Shanahan did because it prevented him from going to another team and working against the Leafs.
I mean, maybe.
No,
That's
not
it.
maybe. 100% it
Can't
is.
you not do that though? If you're offered a promotion, like if he was going from assistant GM to GM, aren't you not allowed to block that?
But he wasn't
the Leafs
offered.
did with Dubas though.
Yeah,
'Cause he was offered
Of
the
course, they
GM
blocked
job.
it.
Wait, what's this July 15th?
Well, it
thing?
was he would be employed by the Leafs till the 15th of July.
Who?
Mark Hunter, but not
Okay.
working for them, as in they're paying the check,
Okay.
but they're not. But he's not working for them, so it prevents him. It's basically a competition clause, right?
Yeah.
It prevents him from going to another team, and then basically downloaded the entire Leaf strategy. Which, if you're Brendan Shanahan, you have to do. You have to make that move. You cannot not. You cannot allow a new GM and all the strategies you've developed over 3 or 4 years to just be exposed like that.
And right before the draft.
Exactly. You can't have that.
It's kind of ruthless, but you're right.
And then Hunter
It's not
didn't.
ruthless at
the
all.
sport's
It's business,
ruthless,
man.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and then Hunter didn't end up going anywhere, anyways.
I just find it weird, man. I just find it weird that, like, okay, and maybe
What?
you're the assistant general manager of the Leafs. You didn't get the position.
You could have stayed on.
Like,
I think he wants to be the king of the castle. And he can be king of this castle.
it is his castle.
And he learned a lot with the Leafs. And if a job opening comes up, he can take it. But I do think he wants to be king of the castle. I don't think he wants to.
Oh, he's made that clear.
I mean, if you want to be an NHL GM, you probably, and you're his age, you probably don't want to be Kyle Dubas' second in command. Because ideally, Dubas is going to be there for a long time. You know what I mean?
But
ideally.
Now, I guess my thought here was that sometimes it makes sense to bide your time in the show.
Yeah, but he's got the name and he's got the
connections.
resume.
Okay.
I don't think anyone
one's
in
gonna forget
the
about him.
NHL is going to frown on him for doing this. I saw
wasn't,
an interesting
I wasn't
thing.
talking about frowning. I'm just talking about, like, out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean?
Oh, no. He's people know the London Knights.
Okay.
And people got to scout the London Knights. Speaking of the London Knights, one thing I think it was Jeff Merrick said that I saw, isn't Brady Tkachuk not going back to university?
I think he's signing.
his 3 options to play. He can play in the OHL, AHL, or NHL next season.
And Jeff Merrick said,
Cannot
what about the
play
London
anymore.
Knights?
Yeah.
I don't know if they hold his rights. I assume they do. And I mean, there's always implied shenaniganery when it comes to the London Knights. I think that's where he plays next season. Doesn't really make sense for him to play with Ottawa, does it?
No, I wouldn't want him there.
No. I also don't think... I'm still confused as to what Ottawa's doing. Remember when Erik Karlsson got traded?
Are you surprised that you're confused at what Ottawa's doing?
No, but okay, so what if you call up Brady Tkachuk, he makes the team and he's great, and you show, look, hey, here's the beginning of the future
Don't do that.
in Ottawa here.
Send him to the
Do you
O so
maybe
you
try
can't
to
call
use
him
him?
up. Send him to the O so you cannot call him up. Don't give Eugene that button. Don't give him that button. Have you ever, I
He
don't
has all
buy
the buttons.
I
He's
don't
the
buy
owner.
chocolate chip cookies because if they're in the house, I'm eating them.
If Eugene
Do
Melnick
not
says to
give
Pierre Dorian,
Eugene the chocolate chip cookie that is Brady Tkachuk. Give him a season away from this shit show.
if he says this kid's making my team, he makes the team. He's the owner.
Try to get him down there before that.
Jeff Merrick did say that Tkachuk is most likely to. He's snooping around and hears that Tkachuk will spend next season with the Knights.
Good.
I think that makes a lot of
That
sense.
makes a lot of sense. I wonder
Under the guidance of Mark Hunter, as we come full circle.
Oh, heavens. Thank goodness something is finally going right for the London Knights. Hey, how about this? Guy Boucher is the coach of the Sens and Mark Hunter is the next GM.
Oh, that's what I was just going to say, probably.
That
It's
could
not
be
even
something.
Pierre Dorian's fault. But
No.
I bet that San Jose trade did not make him look good. And even if that wasn't his fault,
Poor guy.
like I feel bad for him. Like that's
What
it's
a
like-
month. He
it's
had a month.
It's like Peter Horachek. Like
What do you want me to do, guys? What do you want me to
what
do?
am I even supposed to do?
I knew things were going bad when he went on this crazy losing streak when he became the Leafs coach, and then his first win, they had this.
They gave him the game puck, didn't they?
No, they had this like army colored jersey, this camo jersey that they gave out for like team MVP or whatever, and they gave it to him, which was cute. But you don't want to be cute; you want to be competitive, and they were cute.
Dylan Larkin signed his contract literally the day after we talked about what Dylan Larkin might make.
Less than 24 hours.
And some people said it was high. Every contract you see, everyone is like, well, it's high. It's high. It's a lot of money.
Exactly.
We should be rooting for these players, by the way, to make lots of money because they're the non-millionaires in this equation.
Okay.
You know, like we should be rooting for the little guy here, and the NHL player in this situation is sort of the little guy.
Wow. Even signing bonuses, man.
But 6.1,
I like that number.
pretty reasonable.
I like it. Very reasonable, especially again center.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Probably the next captain.
Yeah, I don't hate that number at all. Don't hate that number at all. And remember, we were talking about who makes more, Larkin or Nylander, and I said, well, they're probably not going to be that far apart. That's good news. How does this affect the Leafs? Glad you asked.
Did they purposely give Larkin $17,000 more than Henrik Zetterberg?
Is that what they did?
Is that on purpose?
I don't know how they came to that. That's very confusing. Yeah, that is pretty weird. I don't know, but I like that number.
Okay. Are they sending a sign that, hey, this is your team now?
You make more now. Yeah, but then why 17? Don't make it obvious. You can't make it $1. You can't Prices Right this. You got to make it like 17 G's randomly. You got to make it like a really nice used car every year.
I just
the
think Mr. Holland is telling Larkin something.
I don't know. He's telling Hank something. He's telling Mr. Zetterberg. The
Maybe.
Zets.
I think you're just telling Larkin, hey, you're $17,000 more important to us right now.
We got a couple messages going, well, that raises Nylander's number. I actually don't know that it
What?
does. I think it actually depresses Nylander's number.
Or, well, I wouldn't say it depresses it, but it definitely doesn't raise it.
Because I think, okay, now, people are going to be mad because William Nylander has 2 61-point years in a row. And I get that. Dylan Larkin had a 35 and then he jumped to a 63.
Not a center.
Not a center. Plays with Austin Matthews. And
It matters. Center matters so much.
And
It
that
matters
is
so much.
That's not to denigrate William Nylander, but if you're arguing in a contract situation and you got to pull every point out of it you can, you could say, listen, I mean, if Willie was playing center, would he be getting 61 points?
Is the important question here?
I think less by being a more valuable player.
Sure, but the point I'm trying to make here is in negotiations, you might say, well, Willie,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
we think you're a $6 million guy.
Is the important question not why is William Nylander not a center?
Matthews, Tavares, Kadri.
Not an important question anymore.
Yeah, like he's
Non-factor.
This was my thing several episodes ago. Is like not only is he not a center, he's not going to be one. When? When's he going to be one?
Okay, if
In the next 7 years, when's he going to be
if
one?
William Nylander is your fourth line center, is your team not better?
This is not going to happen.
No,
Why not?
You can't give him the minutes.
It'd be
Can't
cool
give
to
him
see
the minutes.
Babcock like just toy with teams like in the playoffs. Like, guess what? I'm just going to do this for
Ooh,
fun.
kinda funny.
That'd be fun. but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I think you're more likely to see Patrick Marleau center the fourth line. Honestly, I'm saying, and that's
No,
not.
I know.
That makes a lot of sense.
You know, like I think if you're going to, let's say you've had a.
This is Babcock's dream. He wants as many centers as possible.
I think William Nylander will, because remember he took a lot of faceoffs last year. I think they're going to do that side to side thing.
Basically all the Leafs take faceoffs now.
Yeah.
Hyman took a significant number of
But
faceoffs.
he took faceoffs and was effective, and there was a strategy to that. Matthews took him on his strong, and then William took him on his strong arm, and it worked really, really well. So to say William Nylander's not a center, to debate myself on this one, is sort of a lie, because he is a center. He is. He's an NHL
but it's not
centerman.
all about faceoffs,
No,
right?
it's not.
Like Matthews was the center on that line. He just didn't always take faceoffs.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Weird thing to say, I guess.
But I think that this Dylan Larkin contract, if you're a Leafs fan, you should be ecstatic. And you should be ecstatic about the Pasternak deal last summer. You should be ecstatic about the Larkin deal this. Because
Red Wings fans should be excited.
I would have argued that they had to pay Dylan Larkin more because they have less depth. And that often happens, right? Where you don't have all these great players. You got one.
You got to pay your guy.
Yeah.
They paid their guy.
Well, and now, let's say the Red Wings, they're not good, but they shed and...
Oh, no, they're going to keep re-signing Mike Green until he's 45. 1-year deal,
honestly,
$3 million.
And Zadina ends up being real good, and they start this youth movement, and now the guy in charge makes 6.1 whatever. I think it's a good place to start.
Larkin Zadina is going to be sick.
The great thing is, in the NHL, like the way it's heading, even the bad teams are fun to watch.
Yeah. Remember when they weren't? Remember when we watched one?
For
actively?
a decade,
For a
basically?
decade?
Were you guys on the side, back to Nylander, were you guys on the side of giving him a bridge deal?
No.
You want
100% no.
It's a long term right now?
I'd like it to be long term.
Give it.
Ideally.
What is he, 22 now?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
So the deal expires when he hits 30.
Oh, you want 8 years?
I want 8 years. I want him for 8 years. And if that means paying him a little bit more now, great. Because the percentage of cap that he will eat up by the 7th and 8th year when he's in his prime will be way less. Imagine the NHL salary cap.
Well, it'll be through his prime, yeah.
Sure. But the NHL salary cap will be, if it jumps
90 million?
$2-3 million bucks a year, by then, 90? That's
more.
conservative.
What if
We're going to
what
get
if it
90
doesn't
million in the
grow?
next 3 years, guys.
I expect
if
it
it
to go
doesn't
down
grow?
if there's a lockout, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't be that stupid. They're bringing in a team. They cannot have a lockout this time. I know we joke about it. You're bringing in a team in Seattle. You cannot have a lockout.
Steve's on the complete other side. Steve's preparing his job at the zoo.
We still got to set up our zoo tour, which I always say that.
You can't have a lockout. You can't.
You're going to cover the KHL this time? Like, what are you going to do?
Just the Aussie League, I think.
Okay.
Why not?
AIHL?
Yeah.
That actually be fun.
Melbourne Mustangs.
Let's do some British hockey, too. We hear from British hockey fans
Well,
all
we
the
won't
time.
have that opportunity, according to you, because there's not going to be a lockout.
I'm going to
I
cover
don't-
every General's Pete's game.
Okay, imagine,
Liam
you're
Cook
I'm on the
watch.
side of a lockout is happening for a little bit.
Okay, maybe for a couple, you're not missing a season. You're not even missing half a season. I think there will be some labor strife. Maybe you miss a couple games. Honestly, guys, you can't, if you're Gary Bettman and you're on a roll, you got $500 million bucks just in a fee from Vegas. You're going to get $650 million from Seattle. You're probably going to try to milk more out of Kansas City if you want a team back
Or
in
someone.
Quebec.
Yeah.
I mean, Quebec is Jeremy Jacobs wasn't wrong when he said Quebec is a very challenged market in terms
Also
of
Jeremy Jacobs. So
Well,
shut
he's
up.
not wrong though. He's not wrong. You got to find a team like the Jets where they've got a backer who's like the 10th richest man in the world.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's just like, I just really like hockey.
Like the
Yeah.
Thompson, the Thompson family out of Toronto backs the Jets. They are, I'm not even kidding you, among the richest 20 families in the world.
They don't care
really?
if they lose money, which they
they're
probably
s-
lose a bit in Winnipeg.
They don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay. I always wondered. I'm like,
Yeah.
So they still get $15,000 a game. How's that
I think
working?
I think they're also their ticket sales are higher, and I actually think they made a profit this year. But for the first
Oh,
few
wow.
years, they definitely didn't. And there's equalization
Well, that's
payments.
how it works, though.
Yeah, there's equalization payments and all that stuff too. But the fact of the matter is, if you're Gary Bettman, you're making huge money for the owners. You're making huge money for the owners. And in fact, it's good for the play. It's good for you as Gary Bettman to say, listen, we don't have a lockout this time, guys. Cap's going up.
Everyone should be relatively happy. when they come to the table this time.
Because the cap is going up. Now, the players hate the escrow. I get that.
Yeah.
But is that a deal? Is that a deal breaker? Is that what you lock a team out for?
Yeah.
Or players out for?
There's still going to be arguments. There might be some tense moments, but hopefully it doesn't actually come to that. The guaranteed contracts thing terrifies me because if the NHL really digs in on that, forget it.
Yeah, the players will never give that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why they would do that. I
do. They're sick of wasting money.
I think what the NHL should do, I think the compromise there is you allow one total buyout a season per team. No penalty. No penalty. Pay the player, and then maybe the player gets 2/3 of their salary. So pay the player,
Or you do
but it
one
doesn't count against the cap.
buyout. Hey, it's a new CBA. Everyone gets a compliance buyout if you want to use it.
No.
And it's tradable.
A season.
No, you can't do per season.
Favors the rich teams. I'm all about it.
Yeah, no. They would never. They would
Honestly,
never.
I think they should move to a luxury tax model. I keep saying that. It makes the rich teams spend more, and that money goes to equalization payments for the poor teams. It's working in the NBA, besides the fact that the NBA is way more culturally relevant, and they have a sick TV deal that they'll never get again.
What about this? You get a compliance buyout, but you have to give up one of your first-round picks over the next 3 years.
Ooh, that's fun. That's fun.
But give up your first round pick to who?
You just forfeit it.
So there'll be
the 16th pick
29.
becomes the 15th pick.
But then all the picks are moving up. So then if you have a second round pick that's like it's first.
It's a first.
This has happened.
That'd be kind of fun.
Teams have forfeited picks before.
Yeah, but not to the extent where 10 teams give up and then all of a sudden the second round pick that's a first second.
It would be sort of
is the
hilarious.
20th
Ottawa would be the
pick.
first team.
Work with me, man. It's a silly sport. They got to be thinking about
I'm
it.
not playing video game rules here.
Hockey is just video game rules.
Mm-hmm.
Where half the time a decision gets made and you're like, oh, stupid game glitched
Do you remember
again.
last season when an expansion team was in the finals?
Yeah, I know. I'm
They
telling
were
you.
3 wins away from the championship.
I would love to see a financial model that proves me wrong on this one, but economically, it just makes a lot of sense to move to a luxury tax model where there is a hard cap, but it is like if the Raptors who have spent into the luxury tax, it's every dollar you spend in the luxury tax, aren't you paying $2 to the league?
Yeah, but you don't pay the first time you go into the luxury tax, so you only pay when you're a repeat offender.
Okay, so you can go in for one.
dump salary the next time, so you don't repeat. Into
See,
the
I think
luxury tax and then you
that's
pay
dumb. You should have
a
to pay right away.
significant amount.
So that way
It works in the NBA. So
Yeah, the NBA is more popular.
They're
and
doing
more
well.
money. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it works.
But I feel like that sets it up, and the NBA. I mean, they'd be right to do this, where teams like just load up on guys for 1 year. And the NHL is too conservative for that. Although I love what the NBA is doing with
They
it. I
also
think
just don't make enough money.
I think maybe it's a penalty. Like the first year in the luxury tax, it's every dollar you spend. If I'm paying Steve $5 million and I'm in the luxury tax, I have to give the league $5 million. And then the next year, I'm paying Steve $5 million. I'm in the luxury tax, and I have to give the league $10 million.
I like making $5 million. I like the scenario.
I don't know. Anyway,
I like this thing that you just brought up.
I just don't see. I'm coming around on the lockout. I don't know what issues other than guaranteed contracts would
Olympics.
cause a lockout. Olympics?
Yeah.
You wouldn't lock out because of that, though. You would
you
not,
wouldn't lock out, but it'll be a point in contention between the players and the
Point of contention, but like you're
and
going to
the
have
owners.
that.
Yeah, you will have that
for sure.
And they are. By the way, the NHL is going to the Olympics, so it's a non-point, right? Like it's a not.
They want
not for you.
to.
Like the NHL wants to be in China. The players want to be in China. I don't see the rub there.
No.
But going forward after
Just
China.
guaranteed.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
What's the argument there? Video replay.
But even that would only last for, what would it be, one more Olympic? Right? Because if the CBA is 8 years, let's say,
Oh,
then you get China, and then I don't even know what the next one is. Japan? I want to say it's Japan?
yeah, because they spend the next 3 in Asia, I believe.
I think. And then after that, I don't think
knows, yeah.
they have it booked. Have it booked. I would like to book one
Calgary.
Olympics, please. I mean, maybe. Who knows? They go back to Europe. I don't know. Adam, you were on Sportsnet 590 The Fan in the morning.
No, we're not there yet.
Why aren't we there yet?
We're,
No, right, go
we're
ahead.
talking about Max Pacioretty.
Oh,
and
yeah?
the golf tournament that he's having that no one's going to, except that they are. They are.
Yes.
Believe everything that the Montreal Canadiens Twitter account says. So Raph Doucette, who works at 919 Sports, and he's an analyst of the Laval Rocket, He said, can confirm so far Jeff Molson, Marc Bergevin, and Claude Julien don't plan to attend Pacioretty's golf tournament, which apparently he does every year, and it's a charity, of course.
Now, do they usually attend the golf tournament?
I would assume so.
Because, like, everyone's instinct was to be like, oh, screw those guys for not supporting their captain. But, like, I don't know, were, like, Dubas and Babcock and all of them, like, at Hyman's tournament
they were not.
Or Marner's tournament?
It was just players just players.
Pacioretty's golf tournament is a big deal in Montreal.
Yeah, it's huge.
Okay.
We were talking about it on Tim Massin today. Last time on TVA, they had a 4-box of just everything going on in the golf tournament.
broadcast it.
They filmed it like it was the damn U.S. Open. And they had boxes fall around the guys, and they had all the media coverage.
Different world.
It's the biggest thing going on in the summer.
Different world.
So this is a huge deal.
Wow. Okay, so I didn't know it was that big.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what's so funny about Canada, right? Like,
French Canada.
It is just, there's
can
no
be-
Canada like French Canada.
You can be a music star in Quebec.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's it.
And no one in any other province knows who you are. Maybe New Brunswick.
Their DJs, like their radio DJs, are so, like, they're superstars. Like, it mobbed in Montreal and Quebec City. And you're syndicated on like 20 different stations.
Isn't that fun, though?
It's amazing. Good
fun.
for them. I'm happy for them.
We got this one little place where, this is nuts.
So the Canadians,
it's a big deal then.
Canadians tweeted in French that Jeff Molson, Marc Bergevin, and Claude Julien will be there.
Is this an example of Twitter the good?
I don't know. I mean, is it good? Does Max, if you're Max Pacioretty and you hate Marc Bergevin right now, do you want him there?
Well,
Is
no,
he-
no,
is
I
he
don't
good?
think it has anything to do with Max. It's those three guys now going, the heat's kind of on us. We should, or maybe they were undecided, and then they saw this happen and they're like, oh, friggin', well, I guess we got to go. Or maybe they had decided, they just didn't publicly announce it, because why would they?
Yeah. Because
And now that it broke, it's almost exactly like the Oilers thing.
Yeah.
Or it's similar to the Oilers thing, I suppose.
Isn't it funny? Like, that was a non-issue for any of the golf tournaments for Leafs players. Non-issue. If
Well,
Babcock's not there, who cares? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's because of the perceived tension between Max Pacioretty and management.
And it's a big deal of a tournament.
And the big deal of the tournament, but that perceived tension, if that isn't there and they don't come, that's not even a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something we talk about.
4 years ago, that would have been a huge issue in Leafland. Like, oh, so-and-so didn't go to Phaneuf's tournament?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's because they're losing. It's because there's tension.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's a total non-issue otherwise.
And it's August.
And it's August. True. Now, the Canadians obviously tweeted that those guys were coming, and then Raph, I think unfairly, took a bunch of shit because he said, listen, so far they haven't confirmed that they're coming. That's all he said.
Yeah, okay, what was the original tweet?
The original tweet, and I'm going to bring it up again, is can confirm so far Jeff Molson, Marc Bergevin, and Claude Julien don't plan on attending Pacioretty's golf tournament.
And he did put so far. That's just a fact. And you can say maybe there's a little stank on the fact, like maybe there's a little implication there.
Yeah.
But the way you took it is not his problem.
He could have said, and this
All
could
those
be,
words are true.
It could be an English-French thing too. I don't know. I don't know how well how good his English is, but he does most of his tweeting and broadcasting in French. Doesn't mean
No, it's okay.
He could be completely bilingual and get this, but he said, "Don't plan to attend." He maybe could have been a more neutral, haven't confirmed their attendance.
I
But
see
the
what you mean.
stank comes from "don't plan to attend." That implies intent, right?
Right.
Or lack of intent.
I just want to show you this picture of Max
Oh, sorry.
Pacioretty.
Jesse just pulled his computer so fast.
You did that like I was a dog and you were holding a burger.
That's essentially what this is.
Okay.
How to control Steve Dangle the dog.
That's a good point.
No, I want a burger.
This is Max Pacioretty standing at a podium at his golf tournament in 2017. And this is the media that showed up.
Wow.
Can we count the microphone?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I count 10 microphones.
And that's probably not even all of them.
Oh, God.
Okay,
probably not.
CTV, CBC News, just regular CBC next to
TSN
CBC
Radio,
News. TSN
Sportsnet's
Radio,
there.
Global, I think,
RDS,
RDS, Sportsnet,
Yeah.
and then there's a couple mics you can't see. There might be more.
Yeah, there's
we might
definitely more
see
we
them get
can't see.
raised
I've
up.
just seen 2 or 3 that we could see.
Are there 2 RDS mics? Is that what I just saw?
One might be a TSN and an RDS.
Could be TSN Radio too.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a huge deal. Plenty of
Wow.
media will be there. See how it goes.
Anyway, Raph tweeted yesterday, and this is translated through Google Translate, so I'm going to This probably means different a little bit in French, but it said, my tweet yesterday made a lot of jazzy. I'm assuming that means noise.
Yeah.
My tweet yesterday made a lot of jazzy. Much more than I thought.
That's
24
funny.
hours later, the Canadians calmed the game by confirming the presence of Molson, Bergevin, and Julien at the Pacioretty tournament. Simple chance? Come on.
Okay, so maybe it's
He said, but you can criticize me. It's a part of the game. Smiley face.
they just okay.
I don't know if you can criticize him. Like,
No, but we've also who does he work for? Because we've talked about how the Montreal
919
radio is a
Sport.
little bit tabloid.
919 Sport. I don't think that's the same one as the other one where
Mario Tremblay.
Yeah, I'm
and that
not
whole
sure if
thing.
Mario. Who does he work for? Mario Tremblay Radio. Hang on.
And the George Larocque thing. Were those two different things?
Mario
Action-packed
Tremblay,
season. We had a crazy season.
I think, is at 102.1.
Okay, well,
I think.
it doesn't matter. Montreal radio in general is
Wild.
wild. Yeah, great way of putting it, Adam.
It's
Mr. Wild?
it's just a unchecked, crazy. I wish I'd paid more attention in French class, because if I could understand, you could make a website translating the crazy ass French interviews that happen that never make it over to the English mainstream. You seriously could.
There's so many.
There's so many. Like, remember what Hope Smoke did on Twitter? He would take all the interviews from all the
Hope
sports.
Smoke.
Remember him?
Yeah.
And he would take all the interviews and quote them all, which sometimes was bad because some stuff was taken out of context. But most
Or
of the
just
time
didn't read well. you
yeah,
know?
but it was really it was quite interesting to watch. He was a great follow. I'm not sure what happened to him.
I think I'm not sure either.
Yeah, he might have just got tired of doing it. But if you could do that, here's a sports angle for you. We get asked this all the time. Do that.
Oh my God, there's
Translate the interviews. Because that one George Larocque interview and that one Mario Tremblay interview, even those, which were, if you said that on English radio in this country and you're one of those guys, former GM, former player, explosive news. Not even explosive news, just an explosive dialogue and discourse. But it somehow gets lost. It's, for some reason, nobody stepped into that void and said, I can bridge the gap between French and English here. Here's the interview in French. Here's the interview in English.
I'm surprised there isn't more in that regard in the blogosphere for Swedish.
Yeah.
There's so
or Russian.
many of them are bilingual. See, there's fewer bilingual Russians though.
Yeah, it's tougher.
Right? Like English is, I mean, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's high.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in Russia, it's a little bit different. French, you're right though. There are hundreds of thousands of bilingual or French-speaking Canadians.
Mm-hmm.
Bilingual French, English, whatever, however you say it. Yeah, why aren't there more? I don't get it.
Just to give you an idea, I paid a guy through Andrew Berkshire, who's a really nice guy. I won't name him, but I paid a guy to translate the George Larocque interview and the Mario Tremblay interview.
Wow.
I paid him for this show for prep because it's worth his time.
I hope it wasn't much because I asked my cousin to do it and she did it.
Well, yeah, but it was only a piece. He translated
okay.
it word for word, interviewer. He did an amazing.
Well, and his first language is French, right?
Yes.
So my cousin's is not. I don't know. She was raised with both French and English, so I don't know what you would call that.
Anyway, it was worth it to contextualize things. The point is, there's a market there.
Yeah. And I've said it again, or I've said it 1,000 times. Sports science. Every time someone gets injured, write about that injury. I want to know more about it. Why did Steven Stamkos heal up like a damn alien when he broke his leg? Mm-hmm. Andrej Sekera, right now, you could have one of the biggest. It's August, dude. You could have one of the biggest articles going, just writing about that particular injury
And what that takes.
how it would affect the normal person. Past injuries to NHL players. You could relate it to Erik Karlsson. Come on. There's so many possibilities, and I still haven't really seen anyone do it. There's the occasional one-off. There was a really good one a few years ago about, let's all stop glorifying Patrice Bergeron for his 2013 Stanley Cup final run. He could have died. Remember when he was playing with a punctured lung?
Yeah.
And 19 other injuries? Yeah, there was a really good one. It's once in a blue moon, but every injury, I want to see it.
I think that's such a dicey area. if you're like, hey, here's this injury, it requires this type of treatment, and then the players going out and playing, they're not receiving that, and then the team's responding to all of these people just reacting to this article.
Which is a good thing.
This article said this. Let me go ask the team about this, and then the team's coming back and be like, okay, this nuisance of a site is always getting us in trouble because they're like, hey, the medical says you should do this, and then the NHL won't want anything to do with this person who's writing all these articles. So I think if you're in that situation, no, but those are things you should consider.
You don't want to work in the NHL at that point. You want to work in the media.
Well, you're going to want to be. You're right. No.
But if your game is always let's just be controversial and get these teams in trouble,
of course.
You're in a dicey
Well, no, that
area.
shouldn't be the angle. It should just be like, what's it?
Why? He's bringing up a really good point.
No, the idea is here's how long. Like you'd have to be very general because the medical community is like if you think hockey Twitter's divided, read a medical journal.
Yeah.
Yep.
They don't agree on anything, but what you want to do if you're going to do that, your angle should be it shouldn't be criticizing the way a team treats a player. Because you don't know
unless it's blatant.
Well, yeah, and you don't know the particulars of the injury, you don't know the particulars of the player and how they take care of themselves, and you don't know any of that. But what you could say is like, remember when Erik Karlsson had his Achilles sliced?
Yep.
You could say this is how long it takes a normal person to recover from this injury, and then you can do a bunch of videos on here's what he's going to have to do.
And remember, he was sliced like a certain. Sorry, this is gross, but he was sliced a certain percentage, and like if it was a lesser percentage. It was like a month difference in recovery, but if it was like a full cut, like he might never play again. There was some of that stuff too.
So if you're making that site so you can say, here's some education on what it takes a normal person to do this, and realizing that athletes are kind of freakish anyway and they're going to heal up faster most of the time. Like even when we looked up, when David Clarkson was out because he had bursitis, and we're like, what the hell is bursitis? And we looked at that episode, and it is disgusting what bursitis is. But to be able to say, okay, here's if you had like a tutorial video, like, well, here's how you treat bursitis, and here's what it will take, and here's why it's recurring, or here's why it's not, and like that kind of stuff, I think would be very interesting. But if you're going out there to try to call out NHL teams on the way they treat players, I mean, you have no insight, so it would be impossible for you to do that.
You got to do it properly. I think it'd be difficult for a medical student to pull off. I think you could pull it off. You need to make sure you're right.
Well, it's a doctor.
So you're not accusing, like you just said. Yeah. But there's something there in this idea.
Just sure. And I've had it for a long time. Here are some general facts about it. It doesn't have to be specific. Just say when a normal person, and this is not a normal injury, when a normal person cuts their Achilles, here's what it does to your foot. It controls your entire foot. You can't move it up. You can't move it down because your Achilles is all based on that. Here's what it is. Here's what the normal recovery time, and here's the rehab that you have to do. That's it. That's interesting. That's all it needs to be.
And I'm sure you, with more knowledge than me, would know how to make that interesting.
Absolutely.
I just think you open yourself up to so many people being like, hey, you got this injury wrong. They came up. There's so many assholes out there. I just think it's such.
But that's a what, though?
Yeah. In anything.
Yeah. But I just feel like
you can literally have a blog called Have a Good Day.
Yeah.
And people would hate it.
My day was fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How dare you tell me how to have a day? That's what you would
get. With your good day privilege. Like, frig off. I don't know. I think it's a great idea.
I think so, too. I
came up with it. That's why I think it's great.
Have you seen this clip?
Yes, I have. That's why when I pointed at it, I was like, okay.
That's not interesting.
Shall we do the press conference?
The presser.
Talk about your freaking radio trip, man.
I guess we should save that for the press conference.
Okay, fine. That'll be the first question.
Adam, how was your time on the Fan 590 hosting the morning show, filling in for
Elliot Price?
The great Elliot Price.
It was good.
And do we also talk about when you were on with Bennis?
No, we haven't talked about any of that. No.
Well, talk about all of it.
Well, I filled in for JD Bunkus. And it was funny because I went for beers with Ben and JD before I filled in and before JD went on vacation. And, you know, it's, as I said to you after the first two shows that Steve and I did, it's not as easy as you think. And that was one of the first things our program director, Dave, said was like, listen, everybody in their car thinks they can do what you do. So you are going to be wrong. They are going to disagree. Forget about it. Like, just do you, be you, and go out there and do your best. And so, you know, when in the summertime, obviously a lot of people taking vacations. That's why these opportunities are there.
That's the only reason they let me on the radio.
I mean, it's truly.
Imagine how many people were on vacation the week they let me on.
You were fine.
Then there were only a couple when Adam.
Anyway, so they, so I filled in with Ben, and it was interesting with Ben because, we were talking about the Mike. Do you remember the Mike and Mad Dog documentary, the 30 for 30?
Yes, that everyone tells me I need to watch.
You need to watch that. So they talk about the power chair, the A chair. Who's the A chair? And how
who controls the show
exactly, and how that was always a bone of contention between Mike and Mad Dog. Most popular show in sports radio, blown up because they couldn't figure out who the damn A chair was.
Which is stupid. And on this show, by the way, if anyone's confused, you're the A chair.
Yes, that doesn't make you the star. It just makes you the A chair. It makes you the guy that drives the conversation, and you need one, and that's what I do.
You steer the car. You make sure we don't hit the guardrail.
So I was B chair with Ben. And I think it was really great because I knew I'd have to be A chair the next week on the morning show. And I was terrified of that because I hadn't done it in sports radio other than a podcast, which is different. And kind of watching Ben and seeing how he does things, it was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And so I learned a lot from him. And then the next week was on the morning show with Greg Brady and Hugh Burrell. And Greg, for the first two shows, thank God, took the A chair. Because it's hard to explain, but when you're in the A chair, it's like driving for the first time, right? You just don't know what you're doing. Everything is uncomfortable. Everything.
Well, and if you're off, the whole show's off.
Totally. Because you are the one that hits the timing marks. You're the one who comes in, comes out, does the teases, does all that stuff. So I kind of warmed up to the show, and I have to tell you, I can't remember the first 2 days I was on the air with them. I don't remember a single thing we talked about. And then by the third day, once I started doing the HR stuff, which is what I'm more comfortable with, it started to get to be really fun. And they were great guys. So I had a blast. And I mean, I don't really have much to say other than Donovan Ben is a guy that you should follow on Twitter. If you don't already, that guy came on and killed it. We talked almost no hockey. It was like,
well, there's no hockey
exactly.
Right
so
now, you were a big golf week.
Yeah,
so like
huge.
just the way I sort of was like, Adam, what do you think when it came to baseball when we were on? Like, what did you do when it came to golf?
Well, it was good because Tiger made a run, as Jesse knows.
Yep.
And Jesse, who's on a multi-sport show, It's great when Tiger does that because then all of a sudden the conversation is always about Tiger. Like Brooks Koepka won the PGA Championship.
Who?
Exactly. The guy that lost by one stroke is the guy we're all talking about, which is Tiger Woods. And is he back? Is he not back? Is it is he
Two strokes.
What's that?
2 strokes.
Oh, 2 strokes. Okay.
Which is he back is a discussion we've had for like 5 years.
Yeah.
No.
But now it's like actually he's back.
Yeah.
And how many more years can he get out of his 42-year-old body? Isn't it incredible that Tiger Woods finished 2 strokes back? He's 42 years old. This other guy's 28 in the prime of his life. And what's interesting too is that you have to remember that all those guys that are playing or in their prime right now were huge Tiger fans growing up. So they replicated the way he eats, the way he trains, except for Tiger used to do Navy SEAL training, which is stupid. And I think it probably ended up injuring him more than it helped him. And so they eat well, they train well. Before Tiger, it was like you went and you had a couple whiskeys after your round was done. You smoked some cigarettes.
There's still guys like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not as many, but there are still guys like that.
So it was fascinating talking about that stuff. And thank God, Greg and Hugh were so easy to get along with. Because that's the thing, you step into someone else's show, it's their show. Like this is our show. We can all kind of, if I go off the rails, you go off the rails, Jesse goes off the rails, it's like, we're all there with you because we're on the show together. This is our show. We created it.
Yeah.
When it's someone else's show, it's kind of like staying over at someone else's house. You're afraid to go into the fridge for a beer because you just don't know if that's okay, if they're going to find that weird or not. And you're not just staying for one night, you're staying for like a week. You're like, and so
you don't want to get off to the...
Yeah, and the first day it's fine, everybody's respectful. But by day 3 or 4... Are you starting to get on their nerves? And that's what I was starting to think about. Hopefully I didn't. Enjoyed the hell of it. They were so much fun. I have to say this. Production staff, the guys that are running the show behind the scene, and usually they're behind the glass. Ryan Fabro, Mike Cesny, those guys are like,
it's so cool that you're working with Fabro because when I was an intern, he just ran the bullpen. Like he was the guy that kept everything loose and Like he's what I remember, like one of the biggest guys I remember, like as an intern, and now he's doing the morning show. I think he was doing like, I don't know, he wasn't doing the morning show when I was an intern. He's worked his way up significantly.
I also want to shout out
Ryan, you're working with
Ryan Mann as well. Ryan Mann, who is there's, I don't know if how much time you've gotten up early to. You probably don't get up very early. So when you're listening, no. So if you're listening to that show, you got to be up before 9 a.m. But there's a guy.
I did hear you one day.
They do there's a guy there who literally sits and nails you if you screw up with sound bites. And you look at his screen and it's a bunch of it's a touch screen, and his name's Ryan, got a bunch of keys.
Soundboard clips?
Yeah. And he has like 80 of them, and he knows where all of them are. And he would there was moments where I'd be screwing up, and then it would be like Donald Trump going wrong, or and he would get you so good sometimes. Anyway, it's a great show. It was a lot of fun to be a part of. Completely different from anything I've ever done in my entire career, and I really appreciated how easygoing they were all about it. They were all like very helpful. Like Fabro, the first day at A-Chair, every break he came in, he's like, okay, here's your in. Like you're going into this. And then here's your out. This is what we're teasing next.
Yeah, all right. Here's your in. Here's your out.
And he was like super chill about it. Done. And it was great. So much fun. So yeah, I don't know what I can tell you about the experience other than whenever you're sitting in your car thinking that it's easy, thinking that you could do it, you probably could, but it's going to take years and years of training to do it. And the depth of knowledge that someone like Greg Brady has is unbelievable. You can throw anything at him. You could throw music at him. You could throw sports at him. You could throw any movies at him. Mm-hmm. He is like one of those photographic memories. He remembers everything.
And with all due respect to Greg, when I went to Regina for the World Juniors, I wasn't like, oh my God, like Nazem Kadri, Alex Pietrangelo. I was like, holy crap, that's John Liu.
From TSN.
That's John Liu from TSN. And Hugh Burrell is one of those guys for me because he's been on TV forever.
And he's the man. He's also
like,
the man.
that's Hugh Burrell.
Anyway, that's the answer to that question. I'm going to be filling in for Ben Ennis with JD sometime next week. And then there might be some stuff.
Worst retirement ever.
I know, right? But most beautiful summer, I'm like, no, get me back into a studio, please.
Yeah, no windows. Get me in there.
Jesse, other questions from the Reddit page?
I'm trying to think. There's nothing else we missed that you guys did. Like we talked about when you guys did the fan.
Blue Room's done.
Yeah, I'm excited. So you're doing a stream tomorrow?
My plan is to do a live stream sometime around 8:30 Eastern. Around 8:30 Eastern. Okay. I'm not going to promise that hard. Tomorrow we're putting in the baseboard. Everything's on the wall. It's all done. Mm-hmm. Just need baseboard because I know I'm going to get tripped. Also, it'll just look so much better. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool. I'm really happy with how it's turned out.
I'm excited.
How it's turned out.
Cool. Do you want to get to actual questions?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was like, are we done?
Chav25 has our most upvoted question this week. It's who gets their first career fight? Matthews, Nylander, or Marner?
Ooh.
Who gets into a fight first?
That's a great question.
That is a really good question. See, Matthews never gets fazed by anything. Like, have you ever seen him get angry once?
Other than at the Babcock.
At Babcock and the ref that one time.
He gets fired up. So I know he's got that switch. Guys have tried him a couple times. I remember Luke Shen in his rookie year, and Matthews just kind of went sort of like that. Matthews, I think, would have the most confidence to start a fight in terms of he's the biggest guy of the three, but I think it might be Marner. I think it might be Marner because
120-pound Mitch
somebody
Marner
could hold him by his entire body with their hand.
But even Gretzky got into a stupid fight. Like Gretzky got into a fight with a heavyweight enforcer.
We were talking about it before the show. Remember when Connor McDavid and Jr. broke his hand?
Yeah.
In his draft year?
Yeah.
But he was taking on a guy of comparable size, and he just accidentally punched the boards. Yeah. The worst luck ever.
Yeah.
But I could see Marner being like, all right, you know what? This guy is not that much bigger than me, and I'm sick of his shit, and I got to stick up for myself. And you know what? We're losing this game, and it's going to be funny.
Okay.
He'll throw a few punches. You know what? I hung out with Matt Martin. He taught me a couple things. He throws some punches. There comes a time in a superstar's career where they just go, okay, I'm picking my spot.
I have to do this. Yeah, this is
Crosby's
my
been
hell.
in 5 or 6 fights.
Yep.
Wasn't his first one like Alex Goligoski or something like that? Because he was just like, this is the one.
But I'm not surprised with Crosby because, like, if there's a hair out of place, he's upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Crosby gets upset, and especially early on in his career, he's chilled out a little bit.
I can't imagine Nylander getting into a fight.
No.
Nah. I don't think he cares.
He just doesn't even. I think he cares. He just.
No. Like, do you think William Nylander really cares to get into a fight? I don't mean he doesn't care about what's on the ice. Of course he does.
I think Matthews is a lot more excitable than Nylander, if that makes sense.
And Matthews is not that excitable.
And Marner's probably the most excitable, like you said.
Yeah, but I just don't. I think size, man. Maybe. I just don't think you pick that if you're Marner.
So who are you picking? Who gets in their first fight first?
Oh, I gotta go with Matthews. Yeah,
Steve. I say Marner.
All right, okay. Maurice 94, and I think we should shut this down because I think we're all on the same page as this. His question was, should fans respect the arena name change and cease calling it ACC? And I think that's such a ridiculous thing. Why are you respecting the other sponsor?
Are you loyal to the Air Canada?
Exactly. It's Scotiabank Arena. Get over it.
People are like, oh, I'm so upset. It's like member berries. It's like all the member berries stuff again. It's like,
remember the ACC?
Oh, I remember 10 years of fucking terrible hockey. And I don't know, man.
What are we remembering? Why are we just giving another sponsor the name?
remember when it was the Canada Post building where there are actual letters, okay? So that's...
What was the Canada Post?
That was what it was. It was a Canada Post. That building has been there for like 100 years. And they renovated it.
Oh, you mean the Union Station?
No, that's the ACC.
The ACC is on top. It was kind of like...
No, it's attached to.
It's a brand new building.
No, it's not. The facade on it...
The facade is a brand new building.
It's not.
We're going to argue this to death.
Dude, it's not. No, but it's actually
the Canada Post part was part of Union.
No, it's not. It's actually not. It was connected underneath the train tracks. Because the letters would come off the train and they would go into the building. But Union is on one side of the tracks, Canada Post building on the other.
Oh, okay. So
seriously,
you're just not counting. The train track part is kind of what I'm counting as Union.
Okay.
But it's not.
So they took an enormous warehouse and they turned it into a hockey arena. I am loyal to that.
Toronto's architectural gems, the Postal Delivery Building, now the ACC.
Yeah.
No. Incorrect. Now the Scotiabank Arena or the Scotia.
Well, and it's not. It's a little bit different from like even the Sky Dome turning into the Rogers Center.
Yeah, because the Sky Dome was a name.
Well, no, but there was also some sort of sponsorship involved.
No, that was the Jumbotron. Jumbotron was a sponsorship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and also people called it the Dome. Mm-hmm. Like it kind of worked its way into like
because it was
slang almost.
The Sky Dome was supposed to be a brand in and of itself, right? And that was before. That was kind of in the days before corporate sponsorship.
It was also a vote, was it not?
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was a vote on a bunch of lists of names, and the Sky Dome was one of them.
That makes sense.
So it's different, but like I'm gonna miss Air Canada.
I'm gonna miss the Quicken Loans Arena.
It's just. I'll call it the ACC accidentally for probably the next 3 or 4 years, but it's not because I'm like, gosh darn it, screw you, Scotiabank, taking away the one thing I love.
Yeah, I think. No. I think when they start calling it the Maple Leaf Farms Toronto Maple Leafs or something like that, like if you have a team sponsored name, that would piss me off. Like the
Leafs should like sponsor like the new Seattle Arena.
The Toronto Maple Leafs.
The Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well,
home of the Seattle whatever's
Boston, the Toronto Dominion Garden in Boston.
The TD Bank. But I bet you there's a lot of Bruins fans who don't even consider, they just call it the TD Bank.
But it's Toronto Dominion Bank.
They don't call it Toronto. Hey, let's go to a game at the Toronto Dominion Bank.
No one calls it Toronto Dominion.
No.
So the woman who won the contest to name the Sky Dome,
oh, this is great,
received a free pair of tickets to every event that was ever held in the Sky Dome for the rest of her life.
But what did that change when it got to Rogers Center?
I didn't read the whole article at the start,
tickets.
But it starts with she had front row seats to the Rolling Stones, Backstreet Boys, Elton John, Justin Bieber, the Jays World Series triumphs, and a few Grey Cups, all free of charge.
Justin Bieber has to because the Rogers Center was Rogers Center.
Yeah.
When,
wow, so this is still going.
So they carried over. That's amazing.
That's incredible.
Think of all the amazing shit you would have seen.
Wow, that's like over 100 G's.
Yeah, she got for free.
That's
wow.
That's a decent deal, man.
Good for you.
I mean, I'll always take actual money, but that's not a bad runner-up.
Kelly Watson is her name. She's received 2 free tickets to every event that will ever be held there in her lifetime. There being the Sky Dome.
I hope she was like in her mid-30s. That means that she's got like a solid 40 years of that
She
left.
looks young in the
for
photo.
Good for her.
Yeah, I
That's
hope
awesome.
she's still going.
Wow.
And you know what?
It,
It's
but-
funny. They've called
Oh,
it
yeah,
the
she's
Rogers
still
Center
up.
for years, but the seats up in the 500 levels still say Skydome.
Oh, because
They're not going to replace them.
come on now.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. But no, come
No.
on now.
So anyway.
Well, and they're all blue and Rogers
No, the answer is no.
red.
It's a corporate sponsor, guys. You should be fucking jacked that
Yeah,
Scotiabank paid $800 million over the next 20 years, which, by the way, is a worldwide record. Not ever been done before.
And Tavares' entire 7-year contract is like a drop in the bucket.
Yeah. That will pay for Tavares, Nylander, Marner, Matthews, and
It's
half
gonna
of the
pay
rest
for
of the
the
team.
Toronto Maple Leafs for
$40 million a year.
yeah. It's going to pay for a lot.
A lot.
Several seasons of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah. And I do know from a source that there are some cool things that Scotiabank has planned along with this partnership.
Yeah,
So
they're
it's
not,
not
just
just-
slapping their name on the building.
This is not just going to be a name. There are renovations underway.
The screen's getting bigger. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
the outside one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're putting in a new one.
But there's
I
also
didn't know that was a thing that needed to be done. But
it does. Yes, it does.
A bigger screen.
Down at the Scotia.
The Scotia.
I don't
The
know what the
bank.
nickname's going to be. The bank. The vault.
The Shaw. There was only one place to go.
You know
what is it now? The SBA?
The Shaw.
The SBA, Scotiabank.
Scotiabank Arena?
Yeah,
Scotiabank.
SBA. Down at the SBA.
We're not. I don't think it
It's
doesn't
fun
work.
to
It doesn't.
play at the
SBA.
SBA. No, it doesn't
Boys, Spa Day?
Spade.
Yo, it's our spa day. Yo, I love that.
Nah,
I don't.
I love that. It's amazing.
All right, Spa Day.
Spa day? Yo, we should make a t-shirt. Spa day? Seriously.
No.
Come on. No,
No.
it's not. That's not. People would buy that.
Are
Tell-
you-
I know, but
tweet
I don't
in
want to
or
be the one
Reddit-
who put it in the world.
Tweet in and tell them that you would buy that. Tell Steve and Jesse you would buy that.
Are you gonna still call it the Rico? Because it is now
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola Arena, Coca-Cola Coliseum.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm going to call it
I
the
forgot
Coke.
about that. No, yeah, I'm
gonna go-
I'm
gonna
loyal
go-
to Rico and the things that they sell.
What is Rico?
I don't
I don't know. Is that a company?
Yeah, no, it totally is. I don't know what kind.
What? I wonder what the original. It was like the Toronto Exhibition Arena or something
no
dumb like
idea.
that.
Absolutely no idea.
They used to hold horse shows.
It's a Just Energy power play. Just Energy, I know, is probably an energy company.
Ah,
Rico is a Japanese multinational imaging and electronics company.
why would they buy the sponsorship? It didn't do them any good.
Because like when you Google Rico, the first thing that comes up is Rico Coliseum. So got them some name recognition.
Still, but that doesn't tell me anything about them.
Anytime I saw their logo, I just went, you're the Marlies people.
You're the Marlins.
Ah,
Marlies.
and also the horse show people.
So their revenue was 2 trillion yen. I don't know how
Oh,
much.
they're a big company. 2 trillion yen is.
Isn't that like $5?
yeah, like 100 yen
I
is.
think that's a little.
I know. I'm aware, Jesse. You see, hyperbole is often used in.
I'd like to know what the Coca-Cola number was. I'm sure it was pretty significant.
To rename Rico Coca-Cola.
You're still renaming a building in Toronto.
You could probably ask.
And to get a guy like
Yeah.
it almost makes the Marlies look good too, because Coca-Cola is a pretty big company. Like that's a big deal that your mind.
know what you're going for.
The AHL team is going Coca-Cola. Like that's a
More
big deal.
recognizable.
What number is that?
what?
804 million? 804 billion?
That's 804 billion. Yes.
So Rico's net income was 804 billion.
No, that's,
I don't think so.
that's-
I converted 68 billion yen to Canadian
Wasn't
dollars.
it 68 million?
Oh, wait,
yen?
104 billion? Oh, yeah, that makes
No,
sense.
wait, what?
Is it net income or
They're
net
not
value?
Paid 804 billion to name
no.
Rico. Wait, what?
Steve, he's talking about the company's net income.
Rico's net income. Did you seriously think I thought
Yeah,
they
I'm dumb.
paid?
Sorry.
Rico's net income was 68 billion yen. The revenue was 2 trillion yen.
Wait a second. Why would their revenue? Is that net revenue?
Did you add
No,
it?
it's just revenue.
No.
No way.
I'm reading.
What's their fucking net?
No,
What's their net
that has
revenue?
to be wrong.
Their revenue
Is worth more than
for
the company?
year ended March 31st, 2018, revenue is 2 trillion yen. Their net income, year ended March 31st, 2018, is 68 billion yen. I don't know what any of these numbers mean.
68 billion.
I am simply reading Wikipedia.
I think you converted it wrong.
I didn't convert anything. I'm reading this.
Yes, but then okay. Did you copy this?
Yes, and then I typed.
I already don't care.
Yeah, neither do I.
I don't care.
Why are we talking about
This is dumb. Next
Everyone
question.
tweet us and
Everybody
correct it.
turn off the podcast.
I will not read it.
Which Oilers year is closer to the reality of the team?
Ooh.
2016-17 or 17-18? This is from House MD.
Oh,
Fuba.
16-17. 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah. Come on. They are not a bad team. You can't tell me that, do they
They have Connor McDavid, man.
Yeah, and Leon Draisaitl and Ryan Strome. No, I think
When Cam Talbot was so poor
man,
last year, and he was so good the year
Oscar
before.
Klefbom's been hurt for 3 years. Come on.
I'm going to go with they're closer to 16-17.
Yeah. I think they're a second round playoff team.
Yeah. They're fun
Even
to
though
pick
I'm not
on.
sold.
Their management is definitely fun to pick on. But Connor McDavid, dude.
Now, if
They
you were to
have
ask me to
talent.
handicap their chances of screwing it up, I would say the chances are very good.
Oh, well, yeah. And I mean, if they suffer another injury on defense on top of Sekera, I mean, they're already in tough. You get another one? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, bud.
Yep.
But if Puljujärvi takes a step, which I would bet he would, if Kailer Yamamoto makes the team full-time and he's good, that definitely solves a big problem for the Oilers, and they just win every game 8-7.
Yeah, Kailer Yamamoto is a guy that could be your Eberle replacement eventually.
I mean, that should have been the guy you got for Eberle.
Yeah,
but yeah, I get you.
Yeah, that could be the guy that if he can get 50 points, then you're fine.
Well, that'd be great.
It would be great. Who else we got? Jesse?
That's the final question.
Oh, okay, final question. Cool. All right, well, that's it for us. CJ. Christopher L. Johnston. I have no idea what his middle name is.
And we have guests lined up. Yeah, we'll start doing guests. That's me being lazy, guys.
It's Amadeus. Christopher Amadeus Johnson.
I agree.
Can you imagine?
No, it is. I'm not making that up.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.